Fast Lane on Wednesday. It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN with Andrew Marsh and Carey Davis. I'm Anthony Stalter. No Jamie Rivers. Jamie's traveling with the Blues, who delivered a commanding 7-2 victory last night over the Seattle Kraken at Enterprise Center. Blues dominated early. They outshot the Kraken 14-4 in the first period. Wound up taking a 2-0 lead in that period, continued their offensive surge in the second period by scoring 4 goals within a span of 6 minutes and 45 seconds, which effectively sealed the game. Congratulations to Carey Davis, who had Jordan Kyrou in the Light the Lamp game. And Marsh, I believe, congratulations to you as well, right?
Yes, and
you had Jake Neighbors, who also scored. Absolutely. 7 goals, none from Colton Parayko. That's a burn. Otherwise, perfect night at Enterprise Center, boys. That's the thing that you want to see. A couple of key performances. Well, basically everybody that we criticized yesterday during the show in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
Specifically the third and fourth lines.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mostly the third line.
Mostly the third line.
Yeah.
Fourth line.
We called them the fourth line.
We said we had 2 fourth lines.
Yeah, which is an insult.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Hey, you're welcome. You know?
Yeah, no, they must have been listening to the show.
Got the fast lane bump.
Yeah.
This is the way I look at it.
Yeah. That was the first time, I believe, Oscar Sundqvist had 3 points in an NHL game.
Really? In Sunny. In Everbob?
In Everbob. Wow. And Zach Bolduc, 2 goals. Matthew Joseph could have gotten the goal, but Bolduc tipped it in. So that line in itself almost had, each of them had a goal.
Yeah, dominated faces. It was such a dominant effort by the Blues last night that the former Blues were also outstanding. Vince Dunn and Jaden Schwartz each scored a goal for the Kraken. That's how great of a night it was for the Blues. That the players that used to play for them, that now play for Seattle, also found the net. So, in total, 9 goals scored by Blues or former Blues last night. Zach Bolduc led the Blues with 2 goals. Cam Fowler, Sundqvist, each contributed a goal, 2 assists. Thomas, Neighbors, Parayko, all recorded multi-point games. And Jordan Kyrou, as we mentioned before, he scored the goal. Binnington made 25 saves in goal. Here's Jordan Montgomery. Here is Jim Montgomery, head coach of the Blues, on what he liked last night. I imagine the goals helped.
I just like the way that every line looked the same on the ice, checking-wise, but especially offensively. We played hard offensive hockey, whereas if we didn't have a play to make, we went and put it in behind. We went to work on the forecheck, or we were put in an area where someone was skating towards that area. And I thought the defenseman did a great job in the first period of really holding the O-zone, hammering walls, having tight gaps, which allowed our forwards to get more offensive zone time. And I think it really paid off. How you start the game really starts to pay off in the last half of the second period, and we saw that.
The Blues are 5-5 over their last 10 games, which kind of is it's kind of a microcosm of where the Blues are, where they're at right now. Not only on the season, but kind of where they are as a franchise. They're not good enough to make they're not good enough to be a guaranteed playoff team. But they're not bad enough where you just eliminate them right now. Like they could put together a run and still sneak into the playoffs, which I hope they do. The ownership deserves it.
This is why I have said all year to be even keel, right? Because you play a Seattle Kraken team. The Blues played outstanding last night. You got out to a lead early, which is something that we often talk about. Jamie says it. I think every game note starts with getting out early, hopefully scoring the first goal so you're not chasing, you're not playing from behind. They did that yesterday. Jordan Kyrou got the first goal. Thank you, Jordan. Did a great job, and they just continue to add on to it. But you're playing a Seattle team that, not one of the most, not one of the best teams in the league right now. They are lower than the Blues are. You got a game coming up tomorrow night against the Washington Capitals. That's the game you want to. If you want to measure, they're the number 1 team in the East.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty good. And so if you want to have a measuring stick for where you, and they've been beaten. I know they lost, I think yesterday to the Flames. They lost 3-1, but they've been scoring 7, 8 goals. They've been playing some really good hockey. They got a guy, I don't know if you've ever heard of him. They call him Ovechkin, the great 8. He's pretty good. Alexander Ovechkin. He's a pretty good hockey player. He's a few goals from breaking the all-time goal-scoring record that is held by the great one, indeed, Wayne Gretzky. So
I've heard of Sergei Fedorov.
he's a good player too. Number 91 for the.
I have not heard of this Ovechkin that you speak
What was
of.
that Yzerman? What was Fedorov? Was he 91?
Yzerman was 19.
There you go.
Well, Stevie Y was 19.
Yeah, Stevie Y was 19, Fedorov 91. Yeah, I think you're right.
So listen, you want to know who you are? Show me tomorrow. Great game last night. Won't take anything away from it. You did your job. You beat the hell out of a team you should have beat the hell out of. Scoring. My son got in the car, so I was picking him up from basketball practice. He said, "What did that score say?" I think it was 7-0 at the time.
That's right,
He's like,
son.
What? Yeah. Even he knows. Blues don't score that many goals.
Well, okay. I mean, that's not wrong. 7-1 in any game would be good. But
Like, what's the score? Yeah, they're beating the hell out of them, huh?
yeah, they are, son.
Good game.
Yeah.
Now do it again. See, that's the reward
And
for
again.
play. And again.
And again.
And that's the hard part in sports is the pats on the back don't last very long. You got to go out there and line it up and get to it again tomorrow night and see if you're able to beat a team that is obviously one of the best teams in the East, the best team in the East.
I also think that we're seeing Jim Montgomery and this Blues team start to take off in the sense that sometimes it takes a little bit for a new head coach to come in and then the team try and, get their bearings straight, right? Like when Craig Berube took over for Mike Yeo, it was in the middle of November. Like it took a couple months for that team to really find their stride before they went on that 11-game win streak. Same thing with Jim Montgomery. Maybe we are in the process of watching something similar to what happened when Craig Berube took over in 2018, 2019. No, I'm not saying this team is the same team. They're not going to go on an 11-game win streak.
That would be the one big thing that's missing thus far during the regular season.
Let's start with a 3-game win streak. Let's start there, but this team does look better. Last night, they looked like there's probably one of the better games that I've seen them play from everybody all season long. Like it seemed like every single one of the players on the ice was firing on all cylinders. It wasn't just 2 lines or 3 lines. It was all 4 lines. Like everybody was doing their job, and it just looked different.
Yeah,
it just looked different in the offensive zone. They're moving the puck. You talk about good ball movement, right? In your soccer notes on Monday, like the Blues had really good puck movement last night in the offensive zone. They just looked like a complete different team last night.
Yeah, it looks like it should look right. The way that they, you guys have often talked about, Jamie's talked about it, Marsh, you've talked about it, the ability to play fast with the puck. It's not necessarily all about having speed on the ice. That helps, but it's about playing fast with the puck to create that time and space. And the Blues did it last night.
I hate to be negative Nancy, right? But I'm watching that game, and I'm watching Decord and Coco. Is that his name? Coco. Both of those guys seem to be out of position. I don't know if it was great passing, which is something that we haven't seen often from the Blues. They were side to side, boom, boom, quick passes, quick, crisp passes, open net. Now, is that because the Blues were having such great puck movement, or is it because those guys stink?
Can it be both?
Probably.
Yeah.
Because that was...
You talking about the Jake Neighbors goal where Coco...
like he was
on the other side of the ice.
I'm like, what the hell are you doing?
Maybe he saw something.
And I get it. He's a young player. Was that his first...
He's a rookie.
...time in net? First opportunity. It didn't look good. Again, not to be negative Nancy. I am here to keep, because if you all would have heard what we heard at 1:55 today in the office, what was said by someone in this room at 1:55 p.m. today, because Mike Ryder came in and said, "Wait, you think the Blues are gonna make some move? What do you think?" No, they're winning the Stanley Cup. That's what they're doing. Blues Stanley Cup. Did you watch that game last night? I was like, whoa. Marshy, calm down, buddy. 1:55 today. Andrew Marsh said, Blues, no movement at the deadline. They're winning the damn cup. You can book it. He said it. And I was like, that feels like a lot.
You literally fell out of your chair.
I did. I said,
he fell out of his chair, and then he turned his ears off because he didn't hear what I said 10 seconds later.
Do you want to clarify?
Yeah, I was like, all right, yeah, maybe not Stanley Cup. How about just the playoffs? We'll start with that.
I do hope they make the playoffs, though. I'm not saying pass up on any great deals. If you get some great offers you got to be a seller at the deadline. This team isn't good enough to make any sort of deep run. Otherwise,
but if you beat, you beat Washington soundly tomorrow, do you see?
I hope they make the playoffs.
That's the problem with not being even keel. Like you
start to get your hopes up.
Yeah,
is that part of being a fan?
Yeah, that's probably part of it. I'm learning a lot about it. This week has been a lot that I've learned about myself the last couple of weeks. I'm always evolving and learning.
Yeah.
I learned that me as a parent and then as a fan, I got to pick one. It's hard.
A parent or a fan?
Yeah.
Why?
Because and a former coach. Like, you combine all three of those into one person, it gets bad, brother. It gets bad.
Now I'm really interested because at times I am parents, fan,
and coach. And it gets bad, man, because you know what's right and what's wrong.
Yeah.
And then you know you're a child, and then you're a fan, and you're like, what the fast lane is going on here? We got to do some more drills. We got to get more work done. Like, Dad, no. Dad, no. I did my best. Did you?
Is that what's going on?
Yeah.
Basketball?
Yeah. You giving your best effort? I am. You sure? I don't think you are. I know the game. So I kind of made a decision this week. I'm just going to sit there and shut up.
I see what I see what you're saying now. Yeah.
Stay even keel, man.
It's tough.
It is.
Yeah. I even did that. As we all know, I know my soccer, and by what I mean by that is I don't know a damn thing. But I've gotten that way, even like with Killian playing soccer for the first time. I'm like instructing him as if I know what I'm talking about. I don't.
Yeah.
And Chris at one point, she's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "You know what? You're right. I'm just gonna root.
You get that ball, you clear that ball out of the zone.
I'm just gonna root for them. Root for the team. I'll be the parent. I'll be the fan. I don't need to be some sort of hackneyed coach."
All I know about this Blues team, though, is that heading into this weekend, these were the biggest games of the year, probably going to determine their season. They could have been double-digit points out of a playoff spot, and right now they're 4 points out of a playoff spot.
So you're saying there's a chance.
There's a chance, Anthony.
There you go. All right, that's Andrew Marsh. That's Carey Davis. I'm Anthony Stalter. 2:15 your time check, brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. Speaking of Andrew Marsh, he pitched a topic to us today before the show saying simply, are you surprised by this Cardinal being represented on this MVP award candidate? So there was an article, I guess, MVP award candidates.
MLB award, not specifically MVP.
Right. Oh, okay, gotcha.
MLB award.
Are you shocked that this Cardinal is listed, but he didn't tell us which Cardinal? So we'll play a fun guessing game, I guess, next on 101 ESPN. Well, the good weather is starting to come here in St. Louis. If you made it through winter with kind of a beater of a vehicle, why don't you upgrade? Perfect time to head down to Auto Center's Nissan Herculaneum. They've got their Love at First Drive sales event, but it's only throughout the week here because it was going on. The sales event has been going on throughout the month of February. I've been telling you to get down to Herculaneum. If you haven't, don't worry. There's still time to cash in on 0 down and no payments for 3 months on select used vehicles, as well as no payments for 6 months on select Nissans, all right now at Auto Center's Nissan Herculaneum. With over 700 new and used vehicles all in one location, they've got got cars, trucks, vans, everything for you to choose from. You're bound to find the right vehicle that matches your style and your price point. In fact, they've got heavily discounted prices on every vehicle in stock at Auto Center's Nissan Herculaneum. New Nissan's discounted up to $10,000 off. New sale prices starting under $23K on select models. So head down to Herculaneum, tell them Stalter sent you, check out Auto Center's Nissan, and you can also start online at autocentersnissan.com. So Marsh pitched the idea of whether or not Carey and I would be shocked to see this person represent the Cardinals when it comes to MLB Award candidates. I kept saying MVP. It's MLB Award candidates. So, Marsh, I'll let you take over here because I know you wanted to set this up in a certain way. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, I mean, you just basically outlined it pretty well. There's a specific person in the organization that MLB.com believes could win an award this year. When I was reading it, looked at it and was like, whoa! I don't know if anybody had that on their bingo card heading into 2025. So with that being said, I'll leave it up to you guys to try and
let's talk this
discuss and figure this out.
You and I are on the same page.
So here. MVP.
Can we talk about clues? Because Marsh gave us some clues.
I want.
He was shocked.
Okay.
All right. So let's take Ryan Helsley off the board. He wouldn't have been shocked if Helsley won. I don't know. The Rolaids Relief Man of the Year, you know?
Now, how far into these awards are we going? Are we talking Silver Slugger? Are we talking Gold Glove? Are we talking MVP, Cy Young? Can we get some clarity?
Can't do it.
Okay.
Can't clear. Okay.
Can't it could be any award in ever, Bob. Okay. Comeback Player of the Year. I don't even know if they have that in baseball, do they?
Yeah, they do.
Okay. Yeah. We don't have any of those guys. Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, but I don't think he'd be shocked if it was Rookie of the Year.
He might, because he doesn't believe any rookies are going to play. See?
I still think
well,
that.
Don't throw the idea out just yet.
All right.
Let's.
So we're not in the narrowing down.
Yeah, let's throw everything on the board and then we'll start. So Rookie of the Year.
Okay.
Do we have one?
Well, Jordan Walker would be a candidate.
Is he still a candidate?
Yeah.
Not playing enough games?
For Rookie of the Year?
Yeah, I don't think
So
he had
that's
enough.
not him.
I don't think he had enough
that's it.
at-bats.
That's not him. It's not him.
It's based on at-bats. I don't think he's had enough
He gave you a
at-bats, has he?
telltale. It's not. It's
Okay.
not that.
Either way. Yeah, good.
Okay, so
Yeah.
we're clear. Quinn Matthews.
Okay.
So let's
We're going to keep him on the board.
Rookie of the Year, Cy Young Award.
I mean, it'd be shocking if anybody not named Sonny Gray would even be in the conversation.
Eric Fedde.
No way. No.
Don't throw any ideas out, man.
I have to throw that one out.
We got to get all the ideas out and then narrow it down.
What about like Wilson Contreras for a Gold Glove or something?
Ooh, I like. See how I work with you?
Yeah.
See how when you come up with an idea, I don't just hell with that. That's a dumbass idea. You see how this partnership works?
I apologize. You're right.
Okay.
You're right. Go ahead, Carey.
I like Wilson Contreras for Gold Glove. MVP. Now that'd be shocking as hell, wouldn't it?
For anybody.
Yeah. What about Jordan Walker for a Gold Glove?
That would be shocking.
Hey, see, now
That would
you're
be
working
shocking.
with me. You
I
don't
like
believe
that.
it.
Yeah.
You don't believe it.
I don't,
All right.
but hey, I like that you came up with that idea.
Victor Scott, Rookie of the Year. Did he play enough games last year?
I think that would be good. I don't think Victor
he played
Scott
enough.
did.
So Victor Scott, Rookie of the Year. Wilson Contreras, Gold Glove. Eric Fedde, even though you hate it, Cy Young Award.
Yeah.
Quinn Matthews, Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
We got 4 pretty good ideas.
Would Donovan win something?
It wouldn't be shocking. Like he's not. I don't think he would be.
And Mason Wynn wouldn't shock us.
Nah.
Wouldn't shock Marsh.
No.
Okay. So
Nolan Arenado, MVP.
yeah, I think we have to qualify that, right?
Telltales. He's terrible at poker. He's terrible at poker.
Oh, so you think it's?
I think
you
he
think
kind
just tipped us off.
He kind of gave us. He's tipping pitches. He gave a little wink, a little nod, a little like he sat up straighter when I said Nolan Arenado. He kind of did one of these things here with his head. Like,
Okay.
interesting. Keep that one in your store there.
I will.
Well, let's narrow it down. Oh, this is a great one from John Scores. Manager of the Year, Oliver Marmol.
Wow.
Nah.
That we're thinking outside the box now. Something that would be shocking.
John, appreciate you.
Okay.
It's a great one. All right. What do you want to go with? What about, is there GM of the Year?
Yeah.
front
There's
office?
There's a front office award. Yeah, it would be shocking. Okay. So what do we want to go with then?
Well, let's take off Nolan Arenado. I love the Wilson Contreras one because that's mind-blowing. I don't think it's real. Like, it's some really good first baseman he would have to beat out for a Gold Glove.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's feasible. I like Victor Scott for Rookie of the Year, if that's an option. I actually like Ali Marmol for Manager of the Year.
Did you mention Jordan Walker MVP too? Like,
I did not mention that. All right, let's go to what do you want to go? Let's
go.
narrow it down.
Let's go Wilson Contreras for Gold Glove or like Silver Slugger or something.
Can I get Victor Scott for Rookie of the Year?
Absolutely.
Victor Scott for Rookie of the Year.
And then
How many are you guys picking?
Jordan
We'll pick
Walker.
one each. We'll pick one each.
Yeah. All right.
He likes-
I'll go Wilson Contreras.
And I'll go Victor Scott Rookie of the Year. Since we got bullied into only having one each.
Oh, we can't throw like 5 things out there and I need a damn answer.
CD and I like throw out everything. Yeah.
All right, gentlemen. Well, I put in the question, shocked to see this person represent the Cardinals. I did not specifically say a player. And John Scores might be onto something.
Damn it, man.
Wow.
Manager of the Year, Oliver Marmol of your St. Louis Cardinals. This is what MLB.com says. When was the last time expectations were this low heading into a season for the Cardinals? The mid-90s? Pre-Mark McGwire? That's for sure. This is all for a good reason. The Cardinals waved goodbye to Paul Goldschmidt, among others, and made no significant acquisitions. But there's still talent on this team, especially young talent. If they get long-awaited breakthrough seasons from the likes of Jordan Walker and Nolan Gorman, the Cardinals could potentially contend in a division that isn't all that daunting. Marmol has been embattled during his Cardinal tenure, but with expectations so low, he has a chance to guide his team to a surprising playoff run.
Okay. That would be surprising. There's no question about that.
Well, would it be if they won 90 games and made the playoffs? He's probably in line for Manager of the Year.
Typically, that award goes
5 more games than what they won last year.
Oh yeah,
it was 7. What,
well,
83
they won 83.
So 7 more games than what they won
games
last year.
So the Manager of the Year typically goes. It's like an expectation award. Mm-hmm. You're automatically disqualified if you're Dave Roberts because
you got too many guys.
You manage the Dodgers. If it were to be Ollie Marmol, obviously the Cardinals would have to surprise. So that would go kind of hand in hand. I could see it if they were to really surprise, because nobody's got expectations of the Cardinals this year.
Yeah,
everybody's going to project them. Mm-hmm. I think no higher than third. I shouldn't say everybody. Most people are going to project them for. I would think third. Wouldn't be shocked to see some fourths, because I think a lot of people are going to like the Cubs, the Reds, and they're going to respect the Brewers. Mm-hmm. You're going to see some fifths, too, because everybody's going to fall in love with the Pirates pitching staff, which makes sense.
I wonder if he does end up winning this award, the Cardinals make the playoffs. I wonder if that changes the perception of Ollie Marmol here in St. Louis. And, we've seen it before. If you win, the Manager of the Year, you end up getting fired. I wonder if that's a thing, too.
Yeah, it might be. Something to keep an eye on. Yeah. I like what you did there, Marsh. All right, it's a Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Did one team in sports show that they completely overthought a recent trade? And how does that apply to our local teams, too? That's next on 101 ESPN.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. The Blues pick up a victory last night over the Seattle Kraken, a final score of 7-2. They'll look for their third win in a row. We'll see if we can get it for the first time this season as they take on the Washington Capitals. That's coming your way tomorrow. It's an early game, so we'll have the pregame for you at 5 o'clock. Puck drop is at 6. There was also a game last night that happened in a different sport. We're going to dive into that. And is this specific team another example of a franchise overthinking it? That's coming your way next right here in the Fast Lane. I'm Andrew Marsh. The Sports Center update is driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See them at londoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
It's Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. As Marsh just alluded to in the Sports Center update, Luka Doncic played his former team last night. And Carey, Marsh had himself quite a game against the Mavericks as the Lakers beat Dallas 107-99. Luka dropped a triple-double in his first game against the Mavericks. And as Marsh noted, and as I teased, is this a situation where yet another team has overthought the situation? This team being the Dallas Mavericks. They have a star player, somebody they can clearly build around, somebody that's a franchise cornerstone player. Maybe there have been some chatter that they were worried about his conditioning and whether or not Luka Doncic can kind of reach that next level. But obviously the dude can ball. Do you think the Mavericks overthought this whole thing?
I think it's tough to say because you haven't seen Anthony Davis play. Right, you have, and Dallas has
ever.
Well, at some point, Anthony, he plays. And now his nickname is Street Clothes because he's often in street clothes. But
exactly,
he will play eventually. And Dallas has a couple of other bigs that are also out as well. So we don't know the full impact of this trade until we see what Anthony Davis does.
But don't you have to factor that in?
Well, yeah, but it's an injury. Injuries happen, and so I wouldn't say automatically. And we don't know what's going to happen, with the Lakers. I talked about it when they first signed Luka. LeBron and Luka on the same team, it's going to be 5-on-3 at times because both of those guys at times don't hustle to get back on defense and are too busy complaining at the refs or just jogging back defensively. That's just
Luka did get teed up in the first 2 minutes of the game.
That's who they are, and that's part of the reason why Dallas wanted to move on. If you watch, there was so much. Yes, he helped them. He basically got them to the NBA Finals last year. But there's so much complaining and so much, crying to the referees about not getting calls, and you put your team in a position where they're literally playing 4-on-5 because you're not hustling back. And so those things eventually catch up with you. Mm-hmm. Now, it might not catch up with you in February, but it could catch up with you in May, in June, when you're actually competing for a championship or trying to make that run. So I think he has some bad habits that the Mavericks were just like, yeah, we can't win with this. Now, his game is elite. And I had a good friend tell me your game got to be bigger than your problems. I think his game is bigger than his problems, but clearly the Mavericks didn't think so.
Yeah.
So they decided to move on in a different direction. But I don't know if you can say that the Mavs lost that trade yet, because Dallas could make a push and make a run with those bigs that they have, and the league is starting to shift back to having bigger players, in the paint and they can stretch the court. They could be a really dangerous team once they all get healthy. They aren't healthy right now.
I think my bigger issue with this is, one, you don't want to trade, and maybe Carey, you disagree with this, but you don't want to trade the best. You don't want to be losing the best player in the deal.
No, unless you're getting multiple players back in a pick.
If it's
picks.
If it's a situation where it's an expiring contract, that's different, right? Mm-hmm. Even if you want to localize this and you just talk about the Goldschmidt or the Arenado deals for the Cardinals, the Diamondbacks and the Rockies, respectively, were dumping the assets. So they had to get whatever they could. I'm really talking about a clear player-for-player trade or a player-for-players trade. You don't want to be giving up the best player in the deal. The Cardinals, one of the reasons why it stung them that they gave up Randy Rosarina is he wound up being the best player in that deal.
Right.
And they gave him up. They were on the wrong side of that. You can make this case, too, that they were on the wrong side of the Ozuna deal. Mm-hmm. The bottom line is the Mavericks gave up the best player in the deal. I don't think that Anthony Davis puts them over the top either. I like the philosophy of we're trying to build a team. We're not just trying to acquire talent. So I think from that standpoint, maybe the Mavericks are like, we're trying to build a team.
Yeah.
But they swapped Luka Doncic for Anthony Davis. They gave up the best player, the better player in the deal for an injury-prone player, and they still are an incomplete team. So that's my main criticism. And this is where I do think that, to Marsh's kind of question here, of whether or not the Mavericks overthought this, I think they did. I think they wound up being the smartest person in the room, and gave up a really good player because they had some concerns about his attitude and the ability to, stay in shape.
And they may not have been wrong, right? He may have been content and not willing to do the things that he needed to do in Dallas. But sometimes when you do get traded or you do get cut, alarm bells start going off like, oh, crap. It can happen to me, too.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not above this. And so it does kind of signify or signal, maybe I do need to get my crap together. Maybe I do need to be better in this area.
Right.
And then you actually see the player that everyone knows that he already was. But when he's in Dallas, maybe he's content with what he's doing and not willing to put in the work, not willing to hustle back and be engaged in certain aspects of it because I got it made. But once you get cut or traded, now you're like, oh, this is serious. If I don't take care of it, I could be one of those players that, one of those cautionary tales about how great a player could have been had they done what they needed to do. And that may be the thing that alerts him and gets him going in the right direction. What you just said there, that differentiates this situation with the Mavericks and Luka Doncic to somebody like, from somebody like the Blues. Mm-hmm. When they allowed Petro to walk, they knew what Petro was. They knew he was a leader. They had him as the captain. They knew that he was everything that you would want in a player. They were just concerned about the contract and the no movement clause. So that's the Blues overthought it, but the Blues overthought it in a different way. Army kind of just got headstrong about the situation. He got stubborn about the situation. I'm not going to hand out a no movement clause. So that's where this differs now. If the Lakers don't win a damn thing and it turns out that Luka it doesn't have strong work ethic, and he's not somebody to build around. He's just kind of like that final talented piece to put somebody over the top. Well, we'll have that discussion down the road. But for now, it looks real bad for the Mavericks, especially as you noted to start the segment, because Anthony Davis is once again in street clothes. If he gets healthy, I think he'll be fine.
Yeah.
But I say that to say, because the Golden State Warriors, the team I love watching, they are, I think, won 5 out of their 6 games since they traded for Jimmy Butler. The only team that they lost to was the Mavericks.
How about
that? They lost to the Mavericks. So that tells me that the Mavs still, and Kyrie Irving is still there. Mm-hmm. So when he's on, he's hard to stop. So I think the Mavs have a lot going for them. They just got to get healthy, and when they do, they could be a problem.
Watching that game last night just reminded me why I don't watch NBA all the time. Like, there are moments in the game where I'm like, oh, that was really cool. But then, like, the rest of the game, I'm like, what are we doing? Like, we're just chucking up shots. We're missing shots.
Like an Illinois game, save for last night when they took Iowa behind the woodshed.
You had Iowa. You had Illinois, right?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. I don't think you had Illinois.
I had Illinois to win.
By 10 or less.
Correct. No, you're right, Marsh. I mean, the NBA, this is where the NBA has gone astray, where you're just watching teams not play defense, chuck it up from all over the place. This is the NBA has got an issue with the style of play that, let's be honest, I think Steph Curry kind of brought into view. I don't know what you do about it, unless you want to move the 3-point line back, but even then, You're still getting guys that are shooting from half court. All right, it's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. What's trending is next.
topics in the sports world?
What in the wide world of sports is going on here?
It's time to find out with
What's Trending, brought to you by Elite Comfort Experts. Heating and cooling with no gimmicks, just guarantees. EliteComfortExperts.com.
Welcome back to the Fast Lane here on 101 ESPN with Anthony Stalter and Carey Davis. I'm Andrew Marsh, and it's time for What's Trending. Gentlemen, the Jets, the New York Jets, all of their players in the NFL PA survey, maybe not all of them, but they gave Woody Johnson an F.
What?
An F, Anthony. That's not good.
That's surprising.
Thanks for fantastic.
Yeah.
What? Is that what that meant?
That's what I thought.
Oh, I always tried not to get Fs in school.
No, those are fantastic. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
A's mean that you're
An awesome person? No, the other one?
the other one.
Gotcha. So Woody Johnson gets an F. No surprise there. It made me wonder, and I wanted to ask you guys, who are some of the worst owners in sports right now? Woody Johnson is definitely on that list, but for you guys, who falls into that category? Not just football, but all around in sports. Worst owners, worst organizations.
Well, Stan Kroenke, of course, piece of garbage. He's up there, no doubt about it.
Jerry Jones.
Jerry
He's
Jones.
always. Nah, I mean,
is he a bad owner or is he a bad general manager?
He's a bad general manager. I feel like he's he's definitely annoying.
He's a bad owner. No? In the end of the way? You don't think?
He's a meddling owner. How about that?
What's Dolan for the Knicks?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's a good one. But the Knicks have been playing better, so
Yeah, but he was bad for a while. James Dolan?
yeah.
Yeah. The Knicks have been better.
For a while, you had. I know they just made a great hire with Ben Johnson, but the Bears ownership group, the McCaskies. I mean, they've been cheap. They have often hired the coach that really anyone could have had at any point instead of spending big for somebody like Jim Harbaugh a couple of years ago.
I would assume it's not Mark Cuban anymore. Who is the Mavs' new owner?
He's Mark Cuban is like a I don't know,
minority owner.
Yeah,
but the majority owner.
That's Patrick Dumont.
They gotta hate that guy.
I think they hate their general manager
Nico?
more.
DJ Pattycake saying Jimmy Haslam of the Browns. That's certainly a good one. Bonks also mentioned that. Droid FX, the Panthers owner, is pretty bad as well.
Oh yeah. Who was was it Reich?
Name?
Frank Reich was there, and he was like, we had to meet every day, or
Oh yeah, it was a mess. Tepper. David Tepper.
Yeah.
Is the owner. Yeah.
Yeah, walked into the restaurant, told him to take the sign down because he was being criticized.
Yeah. He meddles.
Did you mention
the
Oakland's
A's owner? The A's owner is one of the worst, period.
Yeah.
how are you that wealthy and that thin-skinned? Like,
Because you're probably used to people praising you and kissing your
ego
ass and your
is
ego.
huge.
Exactly. Yeah.
you gotta.
So I can see that. I don't know. There's a lot of bad owners. I do think, though, that Woody Johnson is currently the poster child.
So bad.
It's not great.
Yeah, John Fisher's the A's owner. Thank you, DJ Pattycakes. I mean, that one's bad. You got actual sewage coming up. Mm-hmm. You're not taking care of the facilities. Now, I get it. You're in a fight with the city and all that, and the city of Oakland has to be culpable here as well. But I mean, you've done nothing for your fan base, and now you're ripping them out of the city. Like you're a pile.
Told you I feel bad for Oakland, man. Oakland has lost, football, baseball, basketball. The Warriors went across the bridge to San Francisco. It's tough, man.
It is tough. It's
Tough for a city.
It's tough to be an Oakland fan. No,
I agree.
That doesn't work. No,
I don't think it sounds
syllables don't
as
hit.
well.
Yeah. Syllables don't hit.
What about great marketing by the Warriors? They're not the Oakland Warriors, right? They're the Golden State Warriors, so they can move wherever they want.
Absolutely.
Anywhere in the
in the area.
Yeah.
They could be in Silicon Valley
Yeah.
at any point.
Do you know where that's at, Anthony?
Bay Area.
Hey.
There you go.
Good job. I don't know how you didn't know that.
San Jose, right?
San Jose.
Really?
I don't know. I mean,
slide that in there?
I don't know.
Like I wouldn't notice it?
I didn't know something the other day, and I was ashamed.
Was I critical?
You were critical of everything I just threw out in the Cardinals segment.
I was not. I learned
hated
something
each
there.
idea.
I thought we were like going back and
that's
forth.
a terrible idea. Like, oh, sorry. Thought we were just putting out.
I really like that. But what about this?
I wasn't trying to. I apologize. All right? This is a moment that I can reflect on, and I can be better. I want to be, ultimately, Carey, I want to be the best teammate I possibly can be. And I don't know if I was the best teammate there.
Yeah, you know what? You are now, Anthony. It's appreciated.
I love you, CD.
You all appreciate it.
Can you guys think of an organization that is a good, well-run organization, but the ownership is not great?
Well,
is that
impossible?
I think it's impossible. I think everything starts from the top.
Yeah,
so if you are a good it's hard to. We watched the documentary. We often talk about the documentary about that team in Cleveland and how their ownership wanted to move them, and the players said fast lane that we're going to win regardless. It doesn't really. They were riding in buses, Mm-hmm. They had hot tubs that didn't work properly.
Yep.
It's hard to be the best version of yourself if you can't get well rested or recover in a manner in which you need to.
Right.
That's a documentary.
Or you think the plane's going to go down. I remember that documentary very well.
It's a lot of things you worry about.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And so, I think normally if you got a good front office, good ownership, generally it trickles down and you have a good team.
I was surprised to see that the Steelers did not rank very high on this.
Yeah.
They got some poor marks. And is it mostly because of the facilities? Because don't the Steelers have to share with Pitt?
We share with Pitt, so they have one side of the building, we have the other. I think it's probably outdated to a degree, but it's been there 25, 30 years maybe.
Okay, so it's definitely outdated.
Yeah. It hadn't had much. Last time I was there, not much has changed, but it gets the job done. I think most times it's about, are you eat the food that you're getting, is the food good?
Yeah.
Right? Are you enjoying that?
And not paying for things. Like, remember, I think it was the Bidwells who they were forcing the players to pay for everything.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
They were having to pay for like the smoothies and things like that. Like, look, if you're an owner, these are your employees. If the employee is on the grounds, on your grounds, you got to provide. I mean, you're talking about multi-million-dollar athletes here, or you're talking about guys that are at the bottom of the roster trying to fight just to make on it. Not everybody is making $60 million like the quarterback is, or $40 million like the quarterback is. So to not provide like food and everything after you practice and shower up, I think that's ridiculous. You're forcing the players to do so. You go off campus, that's a different story. That's on you, but I don't know.
Yeah, Steelers got a D for the locker room. It's been the same since I was there. It ain't changed.
I think if you're coming out of college,
and that's the other part. Like if you're coming out of
Oregon, you're like, hey, what is this?
This is a downgrade.
This is the NFL
downgrade.
Because I was just in Eugene, where the locker room I could live there with
Looks
every
like
player.
A hoverboard to my locker and in and out of the facility if I needed to. Yeah, Marty McFly style.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we always talk about the Dodgers and them deferring payments for their players. I didn't really, yes, it is, but I didn't really expect when I saw this number, like it doesn't really hit you until you see it right in front of your eyes. But the Dodgers deferred payments have hit $1.051 billion to 8 players from 28 to 2046.
That's a lot of money.
Billion.
It's a drop in the bucket.
Yeah.
You know how much money you're going to make in that time?
I do wonder what's going to happen.
You don't think they're going to pay him?
Oh, I think they'll pay him. I mean, I'm sure that, look, somebody much smarter financially is going over this and saying, hey, we throw this money into account, it'll grow, be there, you're good. Like, I'm sure they've got it all figured out. But the bill comes due at some point, and I feel like if you push payments off, again, there's probably some sort of financial component here that it'll be great, but...
Well, they probably hired people to do the math.
Yeah, I'm sure. Can I go back to some of the G-Dog and the Snake that says, I don't get fed at my job. Your owner's probably not a billionaire. And your owner probably doesn't care about you, G-Dog.
Whoa.
No, he needs to hear it.
Whoa.
He needs to hear it.
Whoa.
I'm his friend. I'm G-Dog's friend. I'm telling him the truth. And he knows it.
Oh.
I'm not going to sit here and coddle him. He knows. He's not appreciated. And I'm sorry about that, G-Dog. But you're not. You're not appreciated. Not like you should.
Last thing here. Did we mention Jerry Reinsdorf?
No.
Thoughts on that man?
Well, what do you think, Anthony? You were there around that time. You were.
I feel like that's a bit of a slippery slope because I do think he cares. Mm-hmm. I think he cares too. Yeah, I do.
You think he cared when he let the Bulls break up their dynasty? You think he gave a damn?
That was
he didn't give a damn.
That was what's his face?
Krause?
Yeah.
He was part of it.
I bet he appointed Krause.
But he was there.
Look, all I'm saying is
he didn't give a damn.
I think
he doesn't give a damn now.
I think he cares.
Maybe about one sport. What about the other one?
Nah.
He hired Tony La Russa. He did. He felt bad about the whole first, time with Tony, how he let a broadcaster fire him. But he made up for it. He brought Tony back later. It all worked out for that one season.
Listen,
Anthony, I don't think they've been the same since.
Jerry Reinsdorf
Tony was
let my Bulls of the 90s fall by the wayside.
You're just a fan of every team, aren't you?
Now, if you were a kid in the 90s and you weren't a fan of the Bulls, I don't know what to say. We didn't have a basketball team here. What do you want me to do?
Yeah, but you don't want to go to Chicago.
Yeah, I went to Chicago.
A lot of people went to Chicago.
I was WGN every night, Marshy.
A lot of people went to
You got
Chicago
to
on
watch it every single night.
Yeah.
82 games. It might, if it will, let's say 70 games, because, 10 of them were national broadcast games, and maybe you might have missed 2. Mm-hmm. But you got to watch every night.
I prefer my Michael Jordan on the Washington Wizards.
Oh, God.
No, you don't. Nobody does. A couple of comments here. DJ Patacakes isn't New Orleans, being the Saints in the same boat. I feel like they have been kicking cans down the road forever. Oh, yeah, absolutely. From a salary cap standpoint, they have been salary cap. Like that GM, Mickey Loomis, has done a remarkable job with his cap gymnastics. At some point, I think it's going to bite him if it's not already. Tyler Hunt, and I thought Anthony was all about lifting people up. I'm about telling the truth. And G-Dog said, thank you for telling the truth. You're welcome, G-Dog. You're welcome. Waterboy asked, do you guys have hot tubs at 101 ESPN? We do not.
Hot tubs?
Hot tubs? We do not.
We do. We need, contrast therapy. Cold tub and hot tub.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Get ready for these work days.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
CD would also like coffee.
Oh.
Let's start there.
Yeah.
Wait.
He would like coffee.
I would love a coffee machine that works.
Mm-hmm. That's kind of CD's number one thing.
Yep. Priority number 1, 2, and 3.
And 3. That's right. Around the diamond. We've done 2 players. We did Jordan Walker and we did Nolan Gorman. Next up, how about Lars Nootbaar, otherwise known as Giancarlo Stanton, Juan Soto, Aaron Judge, Shohei Ohtani, and Mookie Betts combined. That's next on 101 ESPN. If you're a man and you have been struggling when it comes to getting back what you had before in terms of getting into the gym, feeling like you're operating at your best, you're not run down constantly, maybe you're not dealing with moods, you don't want to deal with mood swings and things like that all the time. You've tried different diet fads and different supplements that you're just chasing, you're just throwing your money away. Check out Mentality. Head down to one of their 2 locations, one in Chesterfield, one in South County. You also find them at lowtusa.com. Tell them Jamie and Anthony sent you in there. It works. The program works. There are different things that you can feel as a man as you get older if you're dealing with low testosterone. We're talking about low energy, low fatigue, weight gain and muscle loss, mood swings like I was talking about. Maybe you're irritable all the time. You're just not operating like you used to. Well, if you just want to kind of kick up your feet and say, look, this is it, no problem, I'm getting older, what am I going to do? Fine. But for most men, including Jamie and I, we're not okay with that. We want to make sure that we're constantly at our best. So head down to Mentality, talk to their board-certified physicians about what's going on, about how you're feeling. You're not going to be alone on that. You may even see Jamie and I down there. The program works. Most insurance companies cover the cost of Mentality. It's fantastic. Head down there, talk to them, and just tell them what you're experiencing. Because when it comes to Jamie and I, it worked for us, and we're pretty confident it's going to work for you as well. It's mentality.
Let's go around the diamond with your St. Louis Cardinals.
3:05, your time check is brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. So as we go around the diamond, today we're talking about Lars Nootbaar. And I think Lars Nootbaar, I don't even know if I'd say the word polarizing at this point, because we kind of know that we know he's got talent, but we also know that any conversation involving Lars Nootbaar and whether or not he's going to have a decent year, it revolves around his health. But we know he's got strong plate discipline. You know, he's somebody that has the ability to draw walks. He showcases excellent, feel for the strike zone. Power is there. You know, so I wouldn't describe him as a power hitter, but somebody that can draw walks and also has that power element, offers that versatility. I think he's a strong defender. I wouldn't play him in center field over Victor Scott or Michael Ciani like we discussed yesterday.
What do you know?
But he's got good speed. He's got athleticism. It's the injuries. It's the inconsistencies, maybe because of those injuries, and some of that like tantalizing, raw talent that we just haven't seen materialize. That kind of, to me, is the end all be all with Lars Nootbaar.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. I think with him it is. I mean, he hasn't played more than 117 games in a season, and it's mainly due to he's going to miss 2 to 6 weeks at some point due to an injury. He's going to miss 30 games throughout the year, and it's not it just happens at inopportune times where you need his bat. The most home runs he's hit is 14 in the season. So he's not a power hitter, but he's a guy that can hit the ball well, can get on base, but can he do it consistently enough? And he's 27 now, going into his 5th season as a major leaguer. I think at this point you kind of know who he is, and if he gets injured again, it's probably time to move on from this project, right? You want him to be there. You want to have his bat consistently in the lineup. But I think the most frustrating part is when he gets hurt, it's like, oh, shoot, he was just starting to get going. Mm-hmm. And then you got to start back over. and you're starting from scratch again. So it feels like it happens year after year. And there are just some guys that the injury bug continues to bite them. Tyler O'Neill was one of those guys. His was different because it seemed like he was just wound too tight from lifting. Dylan Carlson, another one. Whether it's a wrist injury, he ran into Jordan Walker, ran into a wall in the outfield in spring training. Like,
The wall was Jordan Walker.
Be careful.
Yeah.
So there are some people just are prone to being injured, and it can derail a career. Like, it can derail a guy, and that's what makes people, that's what allows people to have great careers, is those that are able to sustain success without dealing with a multitude of injuries.
Yeah.
You think of a lot of players that, you know they have the talent, but dang, they're always hurt. And you got guys that never get hurt. So for me, Lars Nootbaar needs to stay healthy and give this team a chance to see him every single day.
This is also the difference between Harrison Bader and somebody that becomes a full-time player. Because Harrison Bader, when he first came up, he had a surge. You saw the speed, you saw the athleticism, you saw the defensive prowess, you saw a little bit of the power, and of course, when he gets on base, he's a menace.
Right.
But then Harrison Bader kept getting hurt. There was different things that popped up, and it wasn't always like soft tissue stuff either. I think there was one time where he came in on a ball in center field, dove for it, and I think he broke his wrist or something. And eventually, like you're kind of alluding to with the mention of Tyler O'Neill, the Cardinals said, hey, listen, we kind of have to believe who you are as a player, and you were hurt, and we were offered Jordan Montgomery, so we made the deal with the Yankees. That, I think, is where we're at right now with Newt. We saw that one really good half of baseball. He was excellent. He was tantalizing. The World Baseball Classic offered more of that, and like, hey, this could be a popular player. And then the injuries crept in, and all he is right now is just kind of that tease, that analytic darling.
And those players that you named, the players that we both named, Tyler O'Neill, Bader, Dylan Carlson, they are who they are.
Right.
It's not like Tyler O'Neill had a pretty good year last year. He had a lot of home runs. He did that while he was here. But that's who he is. It's not like, don't want to trade him. He's going to go out. No, the hell he's not. He's hurt, man.
Boston didn't even keep him.
He's hurt. People get hurt. And when they're hurt all the time, it's very hard for their body. Your body is never 100%. Once you start, you are like a battery throughout the day and the tenure of your career. And there's no outlet to plug you back up to get you to 100. You might get plugged back in to get to 80. But that's the highest you're going to get to, and it's just dwindling down throughout your entire career until there's nothing left.
Yeah.
That's essentially who you are as an athlete.
Yeah, I mean, since we're kind of walking down this road, though, I mean, Tyler O'Neill, the Red Sox didn't go out of their way to make sure they re-signed him. For as good as he was at times last year, Boston said, you know what, we can do without, and he wound up signing with the Orioles. Dylan Carlson, the Rays had him. They had their eyes on him. Where did he wind up? He also went to Baltimore. So these are players that have moved on. Harrison Bader now is on his third or fourth team. He's with Minnesota now.
Yeah.
So I don't know if this is, as we walk down this road, I don't know if this is kind of a selling point about the Cardinals holding on to guys too long too. You know, I think this is a bit of a, what's the word? Referendum on the Cardinals and their ability to self-scout and not just say, you know what, this is who the guy is.
It could be.
We need to upgrade.
But it could be a thing of holding on to a player too long, especially with a guy like Tyler O'Neill and Dylan Carlson and Newt. Like, this is not something that is like his highest ceiling was, as you said, the World Baseball Classic. Is that 23?
Yeah, he also had that one back half of the season in which he was great.
But that was the time. So when you get injured and you're constantly being injured and not playing enough, like it's you sell high. Like, this guy's super talented. We can't keep him healthy. It's just, he needs a change of venue.
Right.
But he's super talented. That's an opportunity to get something back super talented. But you wait, and the more either he's going to turn into the player you need, or he's going to turn into the player that you know what he is, and you've already seen this story. Like, crap, we waited too long.
Right.
Well, because he couldn't stay healthy.
Yeah.
But again, we've said it every year. I've been doing this show on these airways, not this show, but I've been on these airways for 3 years now. And every year, if Lars Nootbaar stays healthy. He ain't done it yet, though. So
No, I think it's not. All right, that's going around the diamond. Our look at Lars Nootbaar. It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. We've got Prove Me Wrong next. So if you've got a Prove Me Wrong statement that you want to send into the Air Comfort Service text line, please do so at 314-399-9646. So Prove Me Wrong is where you, the listener, can submit a statement that you want either CD or I to have proven wrong. Marsh is our judge, so he'll give us either the yay or nay when it comes to whether or not we proved our segment. So text in. We'll play Prove Me Wrong next.
Hey, it's Carey Davidson. If you are in the need for new windows, you want to give your home a new look, a new feel, maybe you want to keep your warm heat inside and not have it seeping out, you need to reach out to Window Nation. Right now, they're offering 50% off of all windows, all styles, and you can get 0 interest and 0 payments for 5 years. But this sale ends on February 28th, so you need to give them a call today, and you can do that at 866-90-NATION or visit them online at windownation.com. Your new windows could be installed in 1 day or less. Window Nation has a 96% satisfaction rating when they install those windows, and Window Nation windows come with a lifetime warranty. Again, the sale ends February 28th. It's 50% off of all styles of windows, 0 interest, 0 payments for 5 full years. With that window, you get a 50-point inspection on every window before it leaves the factory, a 20-point inspection on every window when it is installed. Again, that installation can be installed 1 day or less. Give them a call today, 866-90-NATION, or visit them online at windownation.com.
Prove me wrong, kids. Prove me wrong.
All right, you heard the man. Time to play Prove Me Wrong. This is where you can submit a statement that you would like CD or I, the law firm of Davis and Stalter, to prove wrong. And Andrew Marsh is judge, jury, and executioner. Judge, good to see you again.
Good to see you, Anthony.
Thank you for having us in your courtroom.
Good to see you, Carey.
S on your hat for snake pits.
It certainly is.
Yeah.
Man, representing.
Somebody wondered if it was a Kraken hat.
I thought it was initially,
but
then I thought maybe Mariners. But it's a snake pit.
No, I designed this logo myself.
But a snake pit. It's an S.
Thank you.
Looks good,
It's
Judge.
a snake.
Yeah. It is a snake. It's got a little tongue
See?
hanging out. Yeah.
Details.
Details
This man
matter.
here
Yeah.
is all about the details.
By the
you know?
way, are you caught up?
No.
Come on, man.
I watched most of the second episode last night.
Okay.
Oh, we talking about Reacher?
Yeah. Oh,
I
yeah.
have to get into this.
You do.
You got to start with the first season, though. You can't
Yeah,
just.
you
I
get,
don't
don't just jump into season 3.
Don't dip into
It's
season
worth it.
3. All right.
All right, we ready?
Yeah.
We're ready.
From the 636, prove me wrong. The Blues' hot streak is messing up the ideal deadline scenario, which is to sell and restart.
That's assuming, of course, that you're getting something that is worth more than what you're giving up. So, in other words, Braden Shen right now is worth more to you as a captain and as somebody that can, kind of lead you through this, help lead you through this retool. I think that's worth it more than a couple of draft picks that may or may not develop several years from now. Same thing with Jordan Binnington. There's a lot of debate about what the Blues are going to get for Jordan Binnington. If it's a second round pick, if you plan to contend next season, Jordan Binnington is worth more to you right now and keeping him than that second round pick. Mm-hmm. So again, this is all predicated on the fact that it would be ideal if you're selling, because you're selling these players at their top market and you're getting not only fair compensation, but above fair market on all of them. It's much better if this team continues to win, makes the playoffs, and ownership, which has poured money into this organization, this franchise, this roster, constantly spending to the top of the cap. It's worth it to have the playoffs, couple of home games, and recoup at least some of this money.
Well, and, if this team does make the playoffs and they see, okay, this is what we're missing, maybe they go out and get somebody to put them over the top rather than, we're going to get rid of all these people and all of a sudden we got to wait another 4 years for these people to develop again.
Right.
I'd rather go out and get somebody else or maybe a few guys. The cap's going up, so.
This is not as easy of a decision as it was a couple of years ago when you had expiring contracts. Mm-hmm. They're in a different spot now.
Good job, Anthony.
Thank you, Judge.
When he started agreeing with you, I knew we were good. Yeah. Well, your point was so sound that the judge backed you.
Well, I felt good coming into the courtroom today, especially working with a colleague that puts in the hard work and is smart and savvy, and it's just good to be here, Judge.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure. From the 636, prove me wrong. If KU had Mizzou's current resume, they'd be projected as a 3 seed by every bracketologist, not a 5 or 6.
Well, here's the thing. You can't always pay attention to what the bracketologists say. They always have last in, first out, first in. It's not always a science, right? So if Mizzou is predicted to be a 5 or 6, there's still time left for Mizzou to prove themselves worthy of a 3 seed. They sit at number 14 in the country right now. I think that there's an opportunity for them to make it to a 3 seed, right? 3 times 4 last time I checked was 12. So you get a couple of more wins there and move yourself up into the 12th seed, the 12th in the country, you can actually be a 3 seed. Hell, you could be a 2 seed. I don't know, depending on how the numbers fall. There's still time. You know, Mizzou fans, you don't worry about what KU does. You know what KU has done this year stunk. You're not them. They ain't you. Focus on yourselves. One of the things that we talk about is focusing on control the things that you can control. And Mizzou can control everything in front of them. Right, Anthony?
That's damn right, CJ.
Yeah.
Carey, that was a great answer. Just wasn't the answer that we were looking for.
That was what? Yeah, I mean, you were handed a loser. Let's just be honest. That was a great point. Can we just talk about it? Can you read that again?
You made a great point. Yeah.
The texter. Can you read that again?
Yes. So let me find it right here from the 636. Prove me wrong. If KU had Mizzou's current resume, they'd be projected as a 3 seed by every bracketologist, not a 5 or 6.
Completely. I mean, that's a great point.
It's like the college football playoff.
It's what you get, which is what you complain about a lot, CD, when it comes to these rankings and the expectations that come about with the rankings. Yeah, the biases that come with the rankings.
Yeah.
From a 636, prove me wrong. Wrong Tigers.
LSU?
Yeah,
That's
wrong
Tigers.
Team. Yeah, it's different.
Yeah, it's LSU
There's
Tigers.
2 other Tigers in the conference.
Auburn.
Tigers?
War Eagle. From the 636, prove me wrong. St. Louis will be dangled out as a potential landing spot for the Texans if they relocate.
You will not see as much as I don't want to say this, as much as it pains me to say, St. Louis will not be considered for an NFL destination. Let me remind everybody that when Stan Kroenke ripped the Rams out of St. Louis and took them back to L.A., there were conversations that were had with one Mark Davis, who was the owner of the then Oakland Raiders. The Hair. Tommy Boy, as they like to call him. And he was in a media scrum when it was announced that the Rams and the Chargers would be the teams that would combine to go to L.A. And, of course, he was disappointed, and Mark Davis was fielding questions, and Mark Davis was asked, for your Raiders, is San Antonio a possibility? And Mark Davis said, all cities will be considered. And they asked him about something else. Is City X also all cities will be considered? Somebody said, what about St. Louis? He goes, absolutely not. What? Absolutely not. So I guess that's we're not all cities. For some reason, the NFL does not want to be here. It's
we only want people that want to be here,
and
Anthony.
we only want people that want to be here, such as the Battlehawks, and City SC, who's off to a thrilling start thus far in the MLS.
And veteran
Blues and our Cardinals.
Major League Baseball players, too.
And, I mean, really, former athletes just want to be here in St. Louis. Sure. And it's not just because of the Toasted Ravs and the partially Friezo.
You know what? I hope that they open up the top section at the Battle Dome this year.
I do, too.
And people show up. Because now you got me fired up, Anthony.
Yeah.
Hang on, before we move on.
Thank you.
No,
you got me fired up. And I'll be one of those people up there. You know me, I like to sit at the very top of the stadium.
You do. You love it.
I love sitting with those people. They bring a different energy. And we need to get everybody out there so we can shove it in their face.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
You and Sir Excalibur.
Yes. And then, while I'm sitting up there, I'm going to watch you down on the field call play.
Thank you, Marsh.
Yeah.
Or maybe you'll just have to look over because I'll be up in the booth.
Oh,
maybe.
You know what I mean?
Oh,
calling plays.
We got to work on this.
Carey might not believe, but I know you do and I do, Marsh. So I appreciate
you. We got to work on it.
Let's do one more here. This one might be tough. It comes from the Water Boy. Prove me wrong. When you guys say Rivers texted you his bet for Bet the Board, it's actually you guys picking a crappy bet for him.
They're not all crappy. Clearly. No. Here's the thing. We're jealous of Jamie. We're jealous of Jamie because he goes to Mexico and he has an opportunity to meet Irv the Monkey, and he just goes ahead and he makes picks that are, let's be honest, they're sensational. So what we like to do is because we're jealous, we like to say things like, oh, we're actually picking for him, and he forgot to send in his pick again. Let's screw him, and it doesn't actually mean that he gets screwed because we pick winners for him. We're just jealous, and that's something that I think we can be better at some point.
Great. Sounds good.
We're going to get the ding?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Wasn't sure. There was a text that said I was destined for a buzzer.
Yeah.
Is that what you were laughing at?
No. I was just, I was contemplating whether or not I wanted to give you that.
Well, again, Judge, it's as you know, it's beyond reasonable doubt. It's
for
not.
Sure.
I don't have to prove everything wrong within the case. It's just beyond reasonable doubt.
Well, some people, they get away with things.
Yeah.
They write a book about it.
True.
Outlining how they would do it if
they were there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it just happened to be that all the details, most that were only the killer would know. He had those details.
Maybe he knew the killer.
Wouldn't that make him an accomplice?
Not if you didn't know in the time of...
Carey, was he there that night?
I don't think so.
You don't think he was there?
No.
Okay.
Well, it was somebody else.
He was found not guilty.
Yeah, but I'm asking you.
Do I think I wasn't there. I don't know.
Carey, do you think he was there?
No.
Given the fact, I'm just going to throw out a couple of things here. Given the fact that there was only a mixture of blood for the three people that were there that night, found in the defendant's car. There are only three blood stains. Tell me he wasn't there last night or that night.
Somebody could have drove his car.
They probably stole it.
With his blood.
I mean, you've never cut yourself in your own car? You've never had blood on your seat from a bandage that ripped off during the day? You cut your finger while you were cutting up some onions or tomatoes for the kiddos?
Sure, yeah.
And you got a little blood, and then you put the Band-Aid on. Oops, Band-Aid falls off when you're putting your seatbelt on. It's blood stain there. Yeah. It stays there. It doesn't leave, right? Was it fresh blood? I don't know.
Did they all cut their fingers
at the same
chopping
time?
Onions in the car?
Maybe.
The car.
Yeah, maybe. Reacher would have got him.
Reacher would have got him.
He would have figured it out.
Reacher would have figured it out. He wouldn't have messed up that case. There's no doubt about it. All right. If the Blues beat the Capitals, they'll be on board again? That's next on 101 ESPN.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. The Blues with a 7-2 win last night over the Seattle Kraken. They'll take on the Washington Capitals tomorrow, and you can listen to that game right here on 101 ESPN. A bit of an early start time. We'll have pregame for you at 5 o'clock. Puck drop is at 6. The Blues going for their third straight win. Could be the first time this season if they get the job done. Are you bought back in? We're going to discuss that next right here in the Fast Lane. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Took the Kraken behind the woodshed last night. 7-2 winners. Everybody scored but Colton Parayko. And now the Blues line up to face the top team in the Eastern Conference tomorrow night in Washington, D.C. as they take on the Capitals. So here's the question, gentlemen. And please, listeners, feel free to chime in via the Air Comfort Service text line, 314-399-9646, or via the Snake Pit on our 101 ESPN YouTube channel. If they beat the Capitals tomorrow night, are you all in?
All in as in...
All in.
What Marshy said at 155 today, they're going to win the Stanley Cup. All in?
All in on the Blues making the playoffs. Or for you, Carey, are you all in on finally getting on the roller coaster that you've avoided?
I don't like roller coasters. I told you that time and time again.
Still, this roller coaster, would you be willing to ride it if the Blues beat the Capitals tomorrow night?
They win tomorrow night, which would be 3 in a row. You could say
the elusive third game.
Yeah, it's been elusive all season. But then what if they lose the next 3 games?
Well, then you crash and burn, and your hopes get dashed.
I want to stay even.
And you... what fun is that?
Well, it's safer. Safe. You get all in.
John Mozeliak?
Oh, yeah. You didn't see my Be Patient shirt I had on yesterday?
I didn't.
Oh. Did I have that on yesterday?
No, you did not. You had a sweatshirt on.
I can't remember.
Hawks.
Oh, It was under my Hawk shirt. It was under my Hawk sweatshirt. Yeah. It was cold in here. Couldn't take it off. No, it'd be a great win. Again, Washington, number 1 team in the East, playing really well. Got a really good player, really great player. Go down as one of the greatest to play the game. But not going to say that if they win in dominant fashion like they did last night. Still not going to say.
All right, why don't I go from somebody who continues to be pragmatic to somebody that actually bleeds blue? Marsh, your team beats the Capitals tomorrow night. You're all in, right?
He's all in now.
Yeah, all in.
I'm bought back in. I don't know if I'm all in.
All in on them making a playoff run.
Well, Anthony, I think I'm all in on just enjoying the rest of the season.
That's not what I asked.
Marshy, don't dial it back now.
Not what I asked.
Anthony,
they beat the Capitals. Where's your emotion?
Stanley Cup.
No, Stanley Cup. Just making the playoffs. That's all.
I think if they beat the Capitals, it is a start to what could be a great stretch run, because this is something that we have not seen all season. So if they can prove that they can do this simplest thing, actually, let me take that. It's not that simple to win. It's hard to win these games. I don't want to make it sound easy.
It's very hard.
Damn near impossible to win 3 in a row.
So let's say they win the 3 games. They get the third win, something that they have not done thus far. I'm starting to feel like this team is different. I'm watching it happen. They're playing different hockey. You have to be excited about that. And who doesn't like an exciting playoff push? It's fun. And enjoy this, because hello.
You may never see it again.
Well, no, you might not see it in October, August, September, October. You might not see it. So enjoy this with this team because you might not get that out of the Cardinals.
Oh, so you're
based on what people are saying. I'm not trying to
the baseball team.
I'm not trying to do that.
I think you actually already did.
I'm just saying. There's a possibility that you might not see it with the Cardinals. So enjoy this while it's happening right now, because, like you said, who knows when this will happen? Who knows?
Why not us?
Why not us?
Why not us?
Well,
why can't we make the playoffs and get bounced in the first round?
Well, that's no fun. But
it's better than not making the playoffs.
I'll tell you, there's a different energy to playoff hockey. You feel like you're a part of the team when it's happening.
Yep.
So you make it to the playoffs, and you're playing who in the first round?
You play probably the Winnipeg Jets.
How you feel?
Before.
You have shown that you get Connor Hellebuck.
You can beat him 4 times.
Did you see Connor Hellebuck in the biggest game of the year?
Yeah, he's actually not that bad.
He was actually.
He wasn't that bad.
L.
He did. They lost. Guess who was on the other side?
I was going to
Guess
say.
who was on the other crease?
Thank you.
Jordan Bennington.
Yeah.
There's a text from the 314 says, I'm not. Once the goal differential gets on the positive side, then they're a playoff team.
Okay, I can take that.
That's fine.
I got no problem. I got no pushback for you.
I like that.
They got a ways away.
Well, what are they now?
Minus 11. There are two
They're
teams.
on their way.
There are 2 teams that are. There are only 2 teams: the Calgary Flames minus 14, and the Detroit Red Wings minus 10. That are wild card teams. Everyone else is on the positive side, on the plus side of things.
All right. So we get on a bit. We win our 3rd game. We get on a bit of a roll. We get into the plus. Good things happen. Carey, I'm not expecting you to hop on the roller coaster because apparently you went to John Mozeliak's School of Risk Taking. But Marsh and I will be excited.
The 816 says 3 wins in a row. I'll answer the U up text.
Okay.
I don't think the Blues have ever sent a U up text.
Nah,
it's usually the Cardinals.
Yeah.
But the
Because
Blues,
typically aren't playing. They're not playing the mind games like the Cardinals
they're
are.
not, yeah.
The Cardinals are constantly playing the mind games.
Typically the Blues will come pick you up at your door. Drive you to where you want to go.
Take you to a nice seafood dinner.
Yeah, never call you again, or no?
No, they'll call.
Okay.
Yeah. Tell you they at least had a nice time. Or if they didn't, say, hey, listen, I appreciate you coming out. Thank you. The chemistry was a little off.
Yeah, lately the Blues haven't been, picking up after themselves. They haven't been doing the dishes, been late on the laundry. That's where they're at right now. But I don't know if they're in the U up, text.
No, the Cardinals are a narcissist. They're flat out a narcissist. They're playing mind games with us. It's like, all right, I'm fine. I'm done with you. And then they realize, oh, they're finally done with us. And then they send the U up text after a win. Because they just want to keep you on the line. That's the Cardinals. Blues, very respectful. You don't always love their decisions. You don't always love the interactions. But
they're not going to bother you.
You know what you're going to get.
I think with this team, though, if they do keep winning, they'll figure out how to win. You always talk about that. How do you win? How do you lose? I think this team is figuring out, especially after last night, hey, if we play this way, we play this brand of hockey, we're going to be hard to beat.
We scored 7 goals a night, man.
7 goals. Put pucks on net.
Winning more games than you're losing.
Yeah.
That is true.
Yeah.
All right. So they beat the Capitals, and they get into the plus point differential, goal differential.
I'll listen.
I'll say aye.
Aye.
Okay. All right. Marsh, what else? What else you got? You're going to say something else.
I was just going to say, I'm not convinced by Carey's
I'm
answer.
not either, but I think this is kind of the best we're going to get out of him.
If I had those blue glasses, I'd put them on right now.
Well, yeah, but it'd be fake.
No, but then you're talking about the Dodgers.
But
exactly.
Yeah. You know what, Carey? I wouldn't be surprised if you picked a different NHL team towards the end of the year to cheer on.
Mm-hmm. Anthony set the tempo. He set the tone. He showed me that I can leave the team that I love and root for a winner. He stopped cheering for the Falcons. Falcons aren't going to make the playoffs. You know who I'm cheering for? Kansas City Chiefs.
You better correct yourself before you wreck yourself. I hopped on the Chiefs bandwagon earlier this year, but it was after Week 18 when my miserable organization lost to the Panthers.
You hopped on the bandwagon last year.
And Super Bowl time.
Correct. So you set the tone. So when people get mad at me, oh, you're a Dodgers fan. I learned from Anthony.
No, you didn't.
I did.
I've hopped off the Chiefs bandwagon respectfully immediately after the Super Bowl.
You should have stayed on. You should stay on now. Rasheed Rice is coming back.
No, I'm not going to stay on. I'm going to hop right back into the driver's seat of this Falcon bandwagon that is constantly on fire.
From Flowery Branch to
I am in a ditch. I've been in a ditch since
Buckhead.
9 years old. Going to Buckhead. All right.
You're sitting in the front seat.
I'm sitting in the front seat. I'm driving this thing.
You're going to go through the window.
Yeah, I have. It's called the 2016 Super Bowl.
Wow.
And it hurt.
And
But I'm back on
back
there.
in.
Yes.
Yep.
Including when they signed the most manipulative quarterback ever.
Who was hurt for the last 6 weeks of the
Apparently.
season. Didn't tell anybody.
Didn't tell anybody. Now that's the Falcons' fault, apparently.
Watch me go out here.
But no, I'm going to serve my kids some chicken strips.
Exactly. Everybody loves him because everybody watched the quarterback Netflix, and he got his son the chicken fingers. You know what I like? You know who I like? Kirk Cousins. CD gets his kids chicken fingers all the time. Nobody, and I mean nobody's praising him.
Anthony, you were feeding me chicken fingers the other day.
I was.
You're shoving them in my mouth.
I don't know if I went that far.
Whoa. The hell were y'all doing?
Nobody said anything.
We're playing trivia.
Nobody said that. You know what? That Anthony's a really nice guy. He shoved those chicken fingers straight down Marsh's throat. Nothing. But no, Kirk Cousins gets some for his kid. Now he's a great guy. Let's give him 60 mil to stink. And at the end of the year, to explain his stench, I was actually hurt. How can the Falcons not know? Because he didn't say anything. Why? Because he knew Michael Penix was better.
It's a really selfish move by him.
It was a totally selfish move.
Yeah.
Okay.
You okay?
Mm-hmm. Chester goes, wow, this just jumped the shark. You know what, Chester? Go fast lane yourself. And I mean that. Go fast lane yourself. Okay? Chester? That actually ticked me off, Chester. Man, jumped the shark. All right, let's move on before Chester does something awful to himself. All right, Matthew Stafford. How the hell are the Rams entertaining trading him? And what does that say about the direction not only of them, but also is there a connection with our Cardinals? I'll tell you next on 101 ESPN. It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Carey Davis, Andrew Marsh, Anthony Stalter. Do you guys buy that Matthew Stafford is actually going to be dealt by the Rams? Because I don't. I feel like they don't want to pay him beyond his current deal, which I think is for another 2 years. So they're playing a little hardball here, and Matthew Stafford's probably like, "Hey, listen, trade me now, then." And they both have their heels dug in. Mm-hmm. Other than that, I don't think the Rams actually want to move on from Stafford. I think they want to move on from Cooper Kupp, but why at this point would they not try to have Stafford for the next 2 seasons?
Is Stafford looking to get more money, or is he? I think he's got 2 more seasons left.
Yeah, I think he probably. I mean, you know how this works with a lot of players, CD, mm-hmm. especially quarterbacks. If they feel as though they can play for 3 more seasons, they want that deal to be three years, right, and call it a day. So I imagine that Stafford wants to play another 3 to 5 years.
I guess the question would be is who do the Rams have as a backup, as another option?
Well, they say they're okay with Jimmy Garoppolo.
Are they?
But that's got to be a flat out lie.
Yeah. Well, I think that if you're Matthew Stafford, I don't know that I would want to leave, San Francisco, Los Angeles, and go play elsewhere. I've been in this system for a number of years. I've won a championship in this system. I know exactly. I got Puka Nacua. Yeah, Cooper Kupp is going to be gone, but I got a pretty good offense, mm-hmm, and a really young defense that played their butts off as a young group last year.
Really cheap.
Really cheap. I would be excited about what the offseason looks like going forward. But it's weird. I don't know. I don't know where you want to go to New York for what? I mean, that was one of the teams that they reported could potentially make a trade, and
which one? The Jets or the Giants?
The Giants.
Yeah. I guess it doesn't matter.
New York.
Yeah.
So for me, I think it's kind of weird. I don't think anything happens. I think he stays under contract. I think he plays his final 2 years, and he figures out whether he wants to retire or gets one more opportunity, mm-hmm, with another team. But it won't be at that same price because at that point he'll be 38, 39 years old. I think this is one of the hardest parts as an athlete, when you still feel like you got juice in the tank and this team, the organization is saying, you might, but at some point you're going to be done and we're still going to be here. Mm-hmm. So they have to start making plans to transition out of that superstar quarterback era and you've seen this time and time again, but the teams that do it well, like, I think the Chargers did it well with Phillip Rivers finally moving on, and they ended up with Justin Herbert. They had a year there. They drafted Justin Herbert, and then Rivers was in
Indianapolis.
Mm-hmm. So it's a hard thing to do. You saw the same thing with Lamar Jackson. They loved
Joe Flacco.
But this is the future.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh didn't do it. They stink. They've been trying to figure it out for the last 4 years.
Right.
3 of them, maybe the last 5 years, the last couple of years that Ben was still playing. Mm-hmm. They didn't make that transit. The Packers have done it well for 20-plus years now, mm-hmm, with their 3 quarterbacks. But you have to hurt some feelings, and you got to and I think the Falcons did it well. Even though Kirk Cousins was only there 1 year, they said to hell with that. This is the future.
Yeah.
You got to make that decision. I think Matthew Stafford is seeing the writing on the wall, and at some point, he probably stays there, but the Rams need to start positioning themselves to make a move to get a younger, cheaper quarterback that can be there for 4 or 5 years before they have to pay him.
Do you think that this could be a distraction, as we progress throughout the NFL offseason, much like the whole Nolan Arenado thing has been a distraction for the Cardinals in a sense?
I think the Cardinals have really tried to trade Nolan Arenado. They had to deal with the Astros. So when it comes to salary dump, getting him to a team that he wants to go to and freeing up space for a young guy, perhaps like Nolan Gorman, I think that was all legit. I don't see the parallels or the comparisons, mm-hmm, with the Rams and Stafford. I think my guess would be that they want Stafford, and this is it's more about term, mm-hmm, than money. Term meaning
another year.
They're good with him for another year or 2, but not beyond the current contract.
And he probably
Stafford wants
another year.
Yeah.
He wants 3 or 4. He wants 2 more years, probably 1 or 2 years added on to what he already has right now.
Right.
And the Rams are like, no.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I said this is the hard part in business because Stafford is I don't know if he's a Hall of Famer. He's going to be on the the door knocking on it, but I don't know if he's a Hall of Famer. But he has been a top tier quarterback for a number of years. You won a Super Bowl with him. He has done a great job in this city for this organization. But man, at some point we got to figure out how to move on, because every athlete has an expiration date on their career.
Yeah.
And it's unfair for the organization to be put in a position where they're just, all right, we just kick the can down the road, like Margie said. You said that about, I think, the New Orleans Saints, and they're what they do, right? Just keep kicking the can. Eventually, this player is not going to be able to throw the damn ball anymore. Kirk Cousins, Peyton Manning, can't throw it. You got to find somebody that can. And so you can't give that to him, even though that's what he wants.
Yeah.
The 618 brought up a really good point. Who actually cares? The Cardinals only got 3 hits today. It's spring training. Yeah, they lost 7-0.
Well, you know what? The Blues scored 7 last night, though.
Yeah, make up for it.
There
right?
you go. Yeah, notice you didn't say anything about that.
No, he's not going to say anything about that.
618.
Yep.
You haven't said one thing about the Cardinals game last night.
Should we take
the Blues game
any
last night.
stock into one spring training game?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
If they lose. If they win, then it's just spring training.
McGreevy pitched well.
He did.
Yeah.
The young guys are all pitching well. Quinn Matthews is pitching well. McGreevy's pitching well.
Well, not King Kent, Anthony. He's not pitching well.
That's true. Yeah. If you want
They got 3 hits today.
if you want to go down that route, yeah, absolutely. You know, I think there's always a negative that can be had, that can be offered to any situation. But do you want to go down that route, or you rather go down a more positive route? Like the Gauntlet coming up next on 101 ESPN. I love Mosby Building Arts. I love the company. I love the people that work there. I love the work that they do. I saw firsthand. We had some doors that needed to be replaced in our house, and it was a serious issue. Kristen and I were concerned because water was coming into the basement anytime it rained. I mean, it got to the point where the kids were like, hey, it's raining in the basement again, Dad. Not good. Not a good situation. And like most homeowners, I tried to do the do-it-yourself thing, and it just didn't work out. I don't know what I'm doing, quite frankly. Some projects that I'm good with, others I'm not. This one wasn't one of them. And we had a bunch of people come out to the house. We talked to a bunch of different companies. Mosby Building Arts was the only one that said, look, here's your actual problem. It's some steps that are going in, and this is a huge issue. This was actually causing your problem. Everybody else is like, just get new doors, you're good. Doors are not just doors. They're flooring, it's everything. So Mosby Building Arts, they came in. It was, 2.5 days, and they did a remarkable job, and I can say now there's no rain coming in. Don't risk going with the wrong remodeler. Don't risk going with somebody that's going to have, sloppy work, hidden costs. They cut corners. They leave halfway through the job because they actually got another bid and they started down the road or something like that. They never return your phone calls. They're disrespectful. We've all worked with really bad remodelers. Mosby Building Arts, they're the right remodeling company. Honest pricing, high quality work, designers with great taste, trustworthy contract team. The pricing is all up front. They do a great job. They know what they're doing. Again, give them a call, 314-909-1800, or visit callmosby.com. Schedule your free consultation today. Tell them Anthony Stalter sent you from 101 ESPN. Mosby Building Arts, the right remodeling company.
players, 4 categories, 1 challenger. Can you survive the gauntlet?
Brought to you by Blue Note Roofing. Roofing, siding, and gutters. Visit BlueNoteRoofingSTL.com for a free inspection.
402, your time check is brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler with Andrew Marsh and Carey Davis. I'm Anthony Stalter, and we welcome in Ben to the program. What's up, Ben?
Oh, not much, guys. Anthony, CD, how are you guys doing?
We're doing great, Ben. So Marsh gave me kind of the heads up that you've got some tattoos I would be interested in.
Well, I don't know if you're interested in them, Anthony. I do have a couple Dave Matthews fan tattoos.
Oh, Ben.
I know you're a fan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought you might enjoy that.
You know, okay, so one of my best friends, Josh, massive Dave Matthews Band fan. I mean, he knows I don't like him and all that, but he travels. I will say they have some of the most loyal fans I've ever seen. So,
my wife, just a couple years ago, got us tickets to go see him at the Gorge Amphitheater out in Washington State. And it was awesome. It was just awesome. So
good.
You need to go. You need to go.
I agree.
If I lose some sort of punishment here with the guys, I'll definitely check them out. So, but hey, I'm glad you enjoy them. I'm glad that you're able to travel and see them. That's cool. All right, Ben.
They're going to be in St. Louis here in a few months.
He's going.
Yeah, we're going to get Anthony to go.
You're going to lose a bet. I'm going Dodgers hat and what jersey did we say?
Kirk Cousins.
Kirk Cousins jersey.
Yeah. What sort? I mean, this would have to be the ultimate punishment.
It really would.
I mean, you're tacking on like 3 things there. All right, Ben, would you like to take on Marsh, CD, or me today in the Gauntlet?
Anthony, I think I'm gonna take you on, buddy.
Okay. All right. Little Dave Matthews Band revenge matchup, I guess. I don't know. All right, Ben. Good luck to you.
All right. Thank you. You too.
Thanks.
All right, Ben. Anthony is heading out to the Cone of Silence. You know how this goes, I'm sure. You listen, and Anthony's gone. All right, tell Marshy to spin that wheel.
Marshy, spin that wheel, buddy.
All right, so for a reminder for those that are listening, if you get the answer correct with no options, you get 1 point. If you get it correct with the options, you get 1 point. Sorry, if you get answered correct with no options, you get 2 points. Answer correct with the options, you get 1 point. And incorrect, you get 0 points. And Marshy put his head to the sky like the Blues earlier in the season when they missed the shot on net. What happened?
It's insane, Carey.
What do we have?
Random again.
How many days is that? It's been a while.
Let's take a look here. We have had random, so far, 9 times in the year of 2025. Wow. And we've had random 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times this month.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, that wheel needs to be recalibrated. Or maybe not. All right, Ben. Random it is. Are you ready to go?
All right, let's go.
Here we go. Indian peafowl are native to India naturally, as well as Sri Lanka. These countries are located on the continent of?
What continent is India on? Well, that's Asia.
Is that your final answer?
It's got to be Asia. Yeah.
Final answer?
Final answer, yeah.
All right.
Okay. Final answer.
Wicked first hit Broadway back in 2003. Who starred as Glenda in the original production that went on to win 3 Tony Awards?
Options, please.
Is it Kristen Chenoweth, Barbara Streisand, or Leah Michele?
I'll go with Kristen Chenoweth. Final answer.
Question number 3. What is the Spanish word for cheese?
Oh, it's, gosh, dang it. I'll know when I hear it. Options, please.
Is it queso, caliente, or garbanzo?
Well, it's queso, right? Gotta be queso. Final answer.
Question number 4. How many teeth do the majority of adults have? We are not counting wisdom teeth. So how many teeth do the majority of adults have?
I think shooters have to shoot here, and I think the answer's 26 or 24. I think it's one of those two. I'll go 24, final answer.
All right, we'll get Anthony back in here. See how he, I think he's in there by himself. Ben, how you feel?
Can I get a John Mozeliak? Not great, please?
Okay, well, we'll see how this goes. Anthony, putting his head.
That felt fast.
How do you feel?
A little nervous now.
Okay, what category would you not want?
Random.
Okay, so Anthony,
Yeah.
Marshy,
Yeah.
you want to tell him?
Pack a lunch.
Okay, you want to tell him the other thing?
It's random.
It is.
Okay.
All right. Are you ready, Anthony?
Yeah, I'll pack up my stuff now. Going to silence. Looks like it's got some crap over there, but that's okay.
Yeah, okay. All right. Indian peafowl are native to India naturally as well as Sri Lanka. These countries are located on the continent of?
No idea. What are the options?
Africa,
Yeah.
Asia, South America.
Sri Lanka. Probably common knowledge for somebody with a brain.
Or ears.
Or ears. Sure. I wasn't listening to the question, so. Let's go with, can you repeat the question?
Indian peafowl are native to India naturally as well as Sri Lanka. These countries are located on the continent of?
Africa. Final answer.
Question number 2. No, it's going to get better for you, Anthony.
It only gets better. It's only up from here, buddy.
Good.
Question number 2.
I'm excited.
Wicked. First hit Broadway back in 2003. Who starred as Glinda or Galinda? Depends on what you want to call her. Who starred as Glinda in the original production that went on to win 3 Tony Awards?
Great question. Can I have the options, please?
Of course. Is it Kristen Chenoweth, Barbra Streisand, or Leah Michele?
The first one. Final answer.
All right. Question number 3. What is the Spanish word for cheese?
No idea. Options.
Is it queso, caliente, or garbanzo?
Caliente. That's hot, right? Queso. Queso would be... I don't think it's queso, is it? Queso? Queso dip? Yeah, sure. Queso. Final answer.
Question number 4. How many teeth do the majority of adults have? We are not counting wisdom teeth. How many teeth do the majority of adults have?
Options.
Options are 32, 36, or 38.
32, 36, or 38. Let's go with 38. Final answer.
All right. Well, let's start there. How many teeth do the majority of adults have? Note, we are not counting wisdom teeth. Anthony, you took the options. You said 38. Ben, you did not take any options, and you said 24. Correct answer is?
32.
0, 0. Let's just go up. What is the Spanish word for cheese? Ben, you said queso. Anthony, you also said queso. The correct answer is?
It is queso.
But, you both needed the options. It's 1-1 tie.
Chips and queso.
Chips and queso. Wicked. First hit Broadway back in 2003. Who starred as Glinda in the original production that went on to win 3 Tony Awards? Anthony, We said, wicked. Give me the first one. Ben, you also said, give me Kristen Chenoweth. The correct answer is?
It is Kristen Chenoweth.
You both needed the options on that one as well.
All right. Hey,
2-2.
We're doing well.
Tie. It all comes down to this. Indian peafowl are native to India, naturally, as well as Sri Lanka. These countries are located on the continent of Ben. Without the options, you said Asia. Anthony, with the options, you said Africa. One of you is correct. Ben.
You have chosen wisely.
It is Asia. And that look of disgust for you is just, come on. Good job, Ben.
Nice job, Ben.
India? In Africa? Sri Lanka? Come on.
Apparently it's Asia.
Definitely is Asia.
Well, good.
My 9-year-old sitting next to me going, Africa?
Ben, good job. You will be back tomorrow, and Anthony is definitely going to the Cone of Silence. He might sit there for 2 segments.
Yep. I'll stay over there for 2 segments. All right. Nice job, Ben. You'll be back tomorrow.
All right. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Do the Cardinals have the stones?
He's moving on very quickly.
What do you want me to say? What do you want me to say? I don't know. I don't know a map. I don't know where countries are. I don't know what continents are. I don't. So what would you like me to say?
We are getting a text that says it's 28 and it's 32 with wisdom teeth.
Either way, I guess 38, which would be 10 more.
Yeah.
I still got it wrong.
If we would have given you 28 as the option, would you have gone with 28?
No, I don't know anything.
One of the texts says, Anthony, what?
I know. And somebody was, hey, this shows how dumb Anthony's. I don't know what to.
Sports, damn it!
I don't know. I don't know anything. I don't know what else to say.
Hey, you got the wicked one, right?
I'm not a smart man. I don't know countries. I don't know continents. I don't know presidents. I don't know anything.
Well,
I don't really know what else you want me to say.
You did your best.
I don't think that either. I barely tried.
You mailed it in.
You know what? He did mail it in. As soon as you said random, he said, I'm packing my... He started packing his things up.
It's the only thing I wrote red on. So, we done? Can I tease the next segment, or we want to continue to talk about my lack of intelligence?
No.
What do you guys want to do?
We apologize. I don't want to make fun of you anymore.
No, you can. Most people would know that. The 9-year-old sitting next to Ben would know that. What do you want me to say?
Yeah.
I
thought for sure you were going to say Asia.
No, I wasn't. I don't know where. I don't know where. I could barely point out where.
I thought the
Nevada
queso one was easier than that.
That's what bacon wrap with queso. Y'all don't know queso?
I went with queso. Did I know it off the top of my head? No, I didn't.
Good job.
You know how many times I took Spanish? I took it 4 times. I took Spanish 3 times. I don't know how many times I got to make fun of my intelligence to show that I don't know what I'm doing.
No more today, because you, sir, are great at what you do.
I don't even think that's accurate.
I mean that. I'm serious. Just not at random questions in the gauntlet. Surprised he didn't say 69 teeth.
I thought about it. But figured I'd get the options and get it wrong anyways.
Man.
All right. We good now?
We're
Can we
great.
move on?
Yep.
Okay.
What are we doing?
Do the Cardinals have the stones to move on from guys like Eric Fedde and the rest of the veterans that they have right now in this starting rotation to free up spots for the young guys? That's next on 101 ESPN.
Welcome back to the Fast Lane here on 101 ESPN with Anthony Stalter and Carey Davis. You just heard Anthony tease this upcoming segment. Do the Cardinals have the stones to move away from Miles Mikolas, Steven Matz, or Eric Fedde? We talked earlier in the week about the potential trade rumors that are going on right now surrounding Eric Fedde. But let's look at some of the young pitchers for the Cardinals. You have Quinn Matthews alongside Michael McGreevy, who are starting off this spring training pretty well, I'd say, guys. You know, Quinn Matthews, he has 3 strikeouts, 2 innings of work. You have Michael McGreevy in 1 game so far this year on the mound. He also has 2 strikeouts and 2 innings of work. So far for these young pitchers, they're making the case to be in the starting rotation to start off the season.
Yeah, I think they've done a great job. We talked about McGreevy and what he was able to do now. I know we got some text about, Tink Hintz, who didn't have such a great outing tonight. But I don't know if he was one of the people that has been projected to be on this roster or even have an opportunity. He's probably, got another year or so in the minors. But you do want to see the young pitchers perform. And hopefully we get to the point where, it's not just 2 innings. You get them 3, 4, 5. I don't know how many innings you want to give them during the spring training game. But you need to know what you got. And you need to be able to see if these young guys are capable of filling out your rotation where you don't have to rely on a Steven Matz because he has often been injured. You don't have to rely on a Miles Mikolas because he's getting up there in age and has struggled the last couple of years. And we don't know what they're going to do with Eric Fedde. So I think having young players perform at that level is a great thing to see. I'm sure the Cardinals staff is excited about it. I'm sure the front office is as well.
They didn't clear the spots. Marsh, I don't know if you teased this. Sorry, we were a little late coming in. But I don't know if you teased the Cardinals have the stones to move away from Mikolas, Matz, Fedde. If you did, I apologize. But I would say no. I think they would have cleared those spots had they been truly excited about their young guys filling those spots throughout the entire season. I think the Cardinals, and correct me if I'm wrong, guys, I think they tend to put their young prospects in bubble wrap. I think they're very cautious with them. I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing, but when it comes to a team that has missed the playoffs now for the last 2 years, 2 years ago was an utter disaster, and last season just wasn't good enough, why wouldn't you take that roll of the dice, take these young pitchers out of bubble wrap, the ones that don't have anything more to prove in AAA, and roll with them and not worry about DFAing somebody like Miles Mikolas, who hasn't been good in multiple years now. But I don't think with where they're at, they either believe that Mikolas, Matz, and Fedde can get them enough at the trade deadline where they hang on to them, or they just simply don't want to eat the money. Mm-hmm. That's kind of my outsider's view on it, because they've kept them. They're telling us that they'd rather roll with the veterans at least early on. Maybe the design is, again, they decide to trade them.
Which is, I think it's a terrible idea to continue to roll out the same guys. You keep doing the same thing, you're going to keep getting the same results. And I think that at some point you have to give young players an opportunity to fail. Like, how else do you know what you have if you never give them a real opportunity to go out there and do their job at a high level? I don't know who they are. I think they've given Matthew Liberatore that chance, and now you found a guy that is a middle reliever and probably going to be really good in that role. Was he a starter? He had the opportunity to do so, but he became he's more like a middle reliever. He's more of a middle reliever than a starter. So, but you don't know that if you don't give him that opportunity. So I think you have to give young players space and room to grow and figure out who they are and figure out what you got.
I wonder if they've had conversations with some of these pitchers. We'll highlight Miles Mikolas for the specific thing that I'm going to bring up, but maybe they've talked to Miles Mikolas and they said, hey, we know you're on contract. You've been a good Cardinal, but dude, we got to see something out of you. You have to earn your spot, because we have guys who are hungry coming up, young pitchers that look like they can make their stamp on this league. And if you're not pitching to the quality that you need to be, your leash is very short. Mm-hmm. I wonder if they've had that conversation, if that's something that they're going to do. Maybe it pushes Miles Mikolas to be a better pitcher this season. And if he stinks in the month of April, then you move on from him.
Mm-hmm. I don't think they're going to do that to you. I don't think if Miles Mikolas has a bad April, they're going to move on from him.
No.
I don't either, because they haven't shown us that they would do something like that.
Right.
You know, I think based on what we've read, it sounds like an injury needs to occur or something, which is like not out of the realm of possibility. It could be anybody, right? I just wish that they would have the stones to throw these guys into the mix to start off the season. Because what if you do end up having a decent year and you end up missing the playoffs by like 5 games?
Mm-hmm.
All because you wanted to go to your veterans who've proven over the past few years that they're not reliable.
Right. Yeah.
You got a text from the 314 says, Devil's advocate, if you get rid of Matz and Mikolas now, who comes up when someone gets hurt? And I think that's a fair point. I think the point we're making is those younger guys should be in the rotation, and you could put Miles and Matz in the bullpen.
Yeah, especially Matz.
He's already done it.
Like Matz you could use as somebody that's a bullpen option and somebody that could be a 6 starter. It's a fair point. You know, you don't want to be trading all of these guys to free up every single spot, because of course spring training success doesn't necessarily mean that there's going to be regular season success, obviously. So I think it's a fair point. The one that I question the most is Mikolas. I mean, Mikolas he hasn't been good for 2 years. I know there's been, like, he was awful. I mean, absolutely dreadful 2 seasons ago in the month of April, then great in May, then awful in June, then okay in July. And I think the Cardinals probably thought, well, if we get the best version of him, next season, which was last season, we'll be okay. It'll be fine. But he wasn't that great last year. So that's the one where I'm like, why not just eat the money? Because you still have Steven Matz, you still have Eric Fedde. But the thought might be, if we trade Eric Fedde and Steven Matz gets hurt, then Miles Mikolas is going to be needed. I don't know. At some point, you got to turn the page, though.
Well, also, if you have a Matthew Liberatore in the bullpen, if you do get rid of these veteran pitchers, why can't he,
step up and
be the guy that you wanted him to be in the first place?
That's
and then
true,
all of a sudden you bring up dudes that can fill that bullpen spot. Like, I feel like there's different options you can do rather than relying on the veterans.
Yeah, that's
just my opinion, though.
Yep. That's a good point. Yeah, Matthew Liberatore at one point was viewed as the top left-hander in Tampa's organization. Now, why did they give him up in a deal for Jose Martinez and Randy Rosarina? Well, I think we're seeing it now. I don't think they felt as though that he was going to be a top-end starter. Could he be a 5th starter if need be, like you're outlining, Marsh? I couldn't see. I don't see why not. Even if it's a number 5. I think the point is there are so many different options for young pitchers, and the Cardinals decided to roll the dice once again on these veterans, and we're just going to have to see how it all plays out. I don't think all 3 veterans are going to be here after the deadline. I think it's a pretty safe assumption. All right, it's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. We got our Sports Six-Pack next. We got questions. Send it in the Air Comfort Service text line, 314-399-9646. We'll answer them next. If you haven't checked out Underdog Fantasy yet, give it a try. Underdog is now available in the state of Missouri, which means that you can play NBA, NHL, college basketball, whatever your favorite sport is, whatever your favorite team is, whatever you got a hunch on in a game or a sport. You got the NCAA tournament coming up. You can play at Underdog Fantasy, choose higher or lower on certain players' stats. One of the things that I love about Underdog is that you can combine sports as well. So you could choose something, an NHL game tonight, or even the Blues and Capitals tomorrow. And so you got a hunch that a player is going to go higher on their point total. You can actually combine that player with somebody in the NBA and somebody in college basketball if you want to. So it's not a thing where, other sites they offer certain features and like, well, you know what, actually it's kind of limited in what you can do. No, Underdog Fantasy, they open it up where you can combine sports. You can, pick different players in different games. You don't have to just stick with the same game. One of the many features that Underdog Fantasy is great. And you can play as little as $1, and if you get everything right, you can win up to 1,000 times your money. Check it out. Download the Underdog app. Sign up using my promo code Anthony to unlock a special offer of up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you make your first deposit. Join in on the fun when you sign up with the promo code Anthony. Claim your offer today and get up to $1,000 in bonus cash instantly upon your first deposit. Must be 18 plus, 19 plus in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 plus in Colorado for some games, 21 plus in Arizona, Massachusetts, and present in the state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Void in Colorado. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. In Arizona, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT-STEP to 53342. In New York, call the 24/7 HOPE line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY.
ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. The Blues pick up a victory last night over the Seattle Kraken. Final scores 7-2. They'll take on the Washington Capitals tomorrow night, and you can listen to that game right here on 101 ESPN. Pregame starts at 5. Puck drop is at 6. Coming up next, we have our Sports Six-Pack. So if you have a question you want to send our way, do so using the Air Comfort Service text line 314-399-9646. Sports Six-Pack coming up next. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See them at londoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
for the Fast Lane to answer your sports questions.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions, and I want to have them answered immediately.
Asking me all these weird questions.
Answer the question.
Answer the question.
Answer me!
The Sports Six-Pack is now.
All right, time for the Sports Six-Pack here in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN with Carey Davis. I'm Anthony Stalter's Andrew Marsh with question 1 for the Sports Six-Pack.
Question number 1.
All right, so this question sort of goes along the same lines of the conversation that we were just having. From the 314, in a 5-man rotation, I believe your 5th starter should be a young guy every year or every other year. Do you agree?
Say that again.
So the 314 says in a 5-man rotation, I believe your 5th starter should be a young guy every year or every other year. Do you agree?
I mean, it just depends. It depends on who you are. Yeah, it sounds good in theory, for sure. I mean, if you're the Dodgers, no. If you're the Phillies, no. But I see where you're coming from with the kind of the nature of this question. It's almost like having a young quarterback. You know, taking a quarterback somewhere in the 3rd to 7 rounds, so you can develop that player. Mm-hmm. So I get the nature of the question, but it just depends on who you are.
Yeah, I think it depends on what team you are, what you got going on. Like if you are a team in need of, starting pitchers every single year, then sure. If you're a team that is pretty set and veteran heavy, and they're good veterans, you probably don't need a young pitcher every single year.
Right.
Because at some point, you would hope in 5 years, those 5 guys are your starters. So, maybe in 4 years, and you get 3 or 4 years because you still got one of your veterans around. So,
I like the theory.
Yeah.
I like the theory.
For the Cardinals, I think that would have been a good process. And maybe that's what they did last year with Andre Palante. And tried with Matthew Liberatore. Like, you've tried this. You figured out what Matthew Liberatore is. Andre Palante did a good job, and he's in your rotation now. And then maybe, one of these younger guys gets that opportunity. So you do have 2 younger guys on the back end of the rotation where you still have Sonny Gray, Fedde, and Miles Mikolas or Steven Matz. One of those 2, because one of the guys might end up being injured.
Yeah.
So
I don't want to give the Cardinals too much credit, because it seems like they stumbled into Andre Palante being in their rotation. I don't think they planned for that.
Right.
I think they stumbled into it.
I mean, it's another reminder that sports doesn't work the way that we all hope that it does sometimes, where it's linear. It's like, hey, we drafted this player this year, so that means he'll be in the big leagues by X year, and the progress made will be great, and he'll be an MVP by year 3. It just doesn't work that way. Some guys obviously take longer to develop than others. Mm-hmm. Mike Leake didn't go to the minors. He went straight from drafted by the Reds, and he made the big league roster. Mm-hmm. He made the big league rotation in Cincinnati when he first came up. So it just depends on who you are. The Cardinals always seem to kind of miss their window. I think, Marsh, you had brought this point up before yesterday. I think you brought it up yesterday. Mm-hmm. The Cardinals seem to miss their window constantly.
Yeah.
But it's difficult to match everything up. You sign a veteran free agent because you want to be active, you want to be aggressive, and then that veteran free agent may wind up blocking one of your young guys that you had projected to, be later. So, I don't know.
Question number 2.
From the 314, what do you guys think of the new automated balls and strikes system? And while I enjoy getting the calls right, do we think it's actually going to help the pace of play, which has always seemed to be an issue for Major League Baseball?
I don't know if pace of play needs to. Baseball is what it is. I'd rather know that we got the answer correct. You know what I mean? You don't have to. There's no arguing over pitches. There's nobody getting thrown out because the ump made a judgment call and was, 2 or 3 inches off the plate and incorrect. Like you're under. Everybody is under the same, and it's under the same strike zone. Like nothing changes. The batter, where the catcher's play, like you're good. Mm-hmm. So I'm for it. I don't think that. I don't worry about when I watch baseball. I don't watch it to. Who watches sports to say hurry up and be over? I don't.
Yeah, I don't. I certainly don't. But I do think there's a flow to a game. Mm-hmm. If you go to, Carey, you know this, you go to an NFL game, there's a lot of stoppages there. You watch the Red Zone channel, you're like, oh, wow, this is great. It's constant.
14 games going on, Anthony.
Hockey, it's constant movement.
Yeah, I don't know.
I know baseball's supposed to be played slower. I get that, but I do think there's forget time. Let's just talk about flow.
I mean, the flow of the game. So with football, there are stoppages, but maybe I understand it because I know after a kickoff, probably going to stop, change of possession. You're going to get a stoppage of play. They got to play commercials. Like there are stoppages that are put in because that's what has to take place at that time. You go 7 minutes in a football game of clock time, it's going to be a stoppage. Like soon as somebody scores, they're not going to do it during a drive, but if you get a 7 or 8 minute drive, guarantee you they're going to commercial after that.
Right.
Like so, and it gives everybody a chance to get a breather. In baseball, you get 3 outs, you get to go swap, you switch. You are dead wrong, Carey. What am I wrong about? 636?
Well, Brandon said, quote of the day. Who watches sports for it to be over? So, 2 conflicting viewpoints right there. One from the text line, one from the snake pit.
Thank you, Brandon. 636. Anthony told you what you can do earlier.
I can't tell anybody to fast-lane themselves. I don't know where India is. I barely know where Indiana is.
Somebody
you know what I mean?
texted in and said, when Anthony says, where are we? He's really asking.
I'm really asking, yeah.
We got a text from Sir Tripod. He goes, I just watched the Gauntlet. I, too, thought India was in Africa. When did they move it to Asia?
I appreciate that. Yeah, somebody on Twitter. Rare do I ever facepalm during the fight. The India answer. Whew, come on, man. I saw your snake pit comments, too. Yes, I am dumb.
No,
yes,
man.
I don't have even a third grade education. Everything you said. Yes.
That happens.
Anthony is in India next to Ohio.
That's true. That's
Australia.
Yeah, Australia. I said that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Question number 3.
All right. This one comes from the 636. The Blues proved to me last night that they can be a contender and play outstanding hockey. The problem, they are wildly inconsistent. With that being said, why do some Blues fans or sports fans in general get trade happy at the first sign of a team struggling?
That's a really good question. I think because I think the psychology of it is that you want your team to be active no matter what. You want the season to be worth something. So if the Blues miss the playoffs and they're inactive at the deadline, there's almost this feeling like the season was wasted.
Yeah.
Whereas if you miss the playoffs and you do trade some of these veteran players, you at least got future assets that those assets could help you win down the road. At least that's the line of thinking. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen, but I think for fans, you don't want to sit there and watch and be hopeful and all that, and then the team doesn't team doesn't make the playoffs, and then you feel like, all right, they're just going to run it back with the same group next year. I think that's the kind of sense that happens, for a fan.
Yeah, you want to feel like your team is doing something. Like if you don't do anything and you miss the playoffs, it's almost like a wasted year. Like, what did we even try to get accomplished here?
Yeah.
So, I think for Blues fans' sake, myself included, I hope we make the playoffs. Marshy?
Yeah, we need it. We need it.
It's been a while around here, man. Been some hard times, St. Louis sports.
Man, I couldn't remember the last time a team made the playoffs. So that was a 2023
City SC, first year.
Did we? Was that 22?
No, it's 23. When was the last time the Blues and or Cardinals made the playoffs?
2022.
Ollie's
Lost
first
to the,
year.
Phillies.
In the Pujols.
Ryan Helsley.
Mm-hmm.
Jose Quintana, which everybody's upset about still, which is, if you go back and watch it, that's a dumbass reason to be upset.
There's a lot that went wrong in the ninth.
After that, man,
yeah,
that was good.
Splashback Deuce with this is a well set out statement. Splashback Deuce is sports fans think simple solutions are simply done. Like you can point and click to fire or trade someone, but there are hundreds of real life factors preventing it. Absolutely. Yeah, it's well said. Battlehawks were the last team.
Oh, last year.
Last year.
There you go. Marshy, you were at the Battle Dome.
I was. I won a few times.
Yeah.
That's right. They got bounced in the first round.
Yeah.
When was the last time that we actually enjoyed watching a playoff game here in St. Louis? Was that when the Blues beat the Wild in Game 6 of the first round in the playoffs?
Yes. Did they get one game against the Avalanche? I know they lost game 1 when Binnington was awesome.
They won 2.
Yeah, they won 2. So that was probably it.
Yeah, but we ended up losing that round.
You can't win them all.
But at least they won a playoff game.
Yeah, they won game 2.
They won and then they won the Nathan McKinnon game when he went coast to
overtime.
coast.
Yeah, that was game 5.
Yeah. So there you go. Game 5.
Game 5, yeah.
Of 2022.
22.
So you're saying it's been a while?
It's definitely been a while. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I was actually. Splashback Deuce.
What's up?
I was happy watching the World Series last year.
Yeah, you were. Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right. We'll continue our Sports Six Pack next on 101 ESPN. Whatever it is that you are embarking on, whether it's trying to find a new home and you're trying to get that loan in place, maybe it's a dream home, but your finances, they might not be great. You might not feel like they're in great order, so that you get that dream home. Call Stewie. Stewie from Stewart's American Mortgage Corporation. He's local. He does a great job of providing outstanding customer service, whether it's a refi that you're trying to do or, again, secure a loan to get that dream home, or even ask maybe about debt consolidation. Stewie can handle it all. I remember many years ago calling around thinking about doing a refi, and I asked people, hey, do you have, what Stewie offers is bagel loan. Do you have no closing costs, no lender fees? Do you have any options there? And I remember one guy laughed. He's like, no, everybody's got fees, not Stewie. If you ask him about his bagel loan, he's got different features, he's got different programs and things like that, but his bagel loan is always in place. If you're borrowing $200,000 or more, no lender fees, no closing costs. A lot of times you get you closed within 2 weeks. These are all things that he does for the client so that he makes sure that you keep recommending him. You keep going back. Countless 101 ESPN listeners have texted in and say, hey, I actually called Stewie. He's fantastic. He got me into my dream home, or he got me refied, or he made the process simple. That's what we want, right? You want a guy that can help you do that, and Stewie is the guy. So give me a call, 314-324-4440. Again, 314-324-4440. If you miss that number, you can always Google the bagel loan.
NMLS number 226715.
It's time for the Fast Lane to answer your sports questions.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions, and I want to have them answered immediately.
Asking me all these weird questions.
Answer the question.
Answer the question.
Answer me!
The Sports Six-Pack is now.
All right, we continue our Sports Six-Pack here in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Carey Davis, I'm Anthony Stalter. Here's Andrew Marsh with question 4.
Question number 4.
From the 913, Marsh's comment, and prove me wrong, has reinforced something I've always wondered. Is the overwhelming support for the team, the Battlehawks that is, solely based on vindictiveness toward Stan Kroenke? I genuinely enjoy the UFL product and don't see Kroenke as a huge part of why I support the team. It feels like a bummer if hate is the main thing fueling a fandom. What are your thoughts on that?
I think for some people it is. I think we could be honest about that. I think some people showed up initially to as some sort of prove it opportunity, for the city of St. Louis. Say, look, we'll support a football team. We'll support a football team that's not in the NFL. We'll support a football team that's homegrown. Watch this. Yeah, I do. But at this point, people have stuck with the product. So it's got to be more than that now. I don't think CD, you and I know very well, spite can only take you so far.
Usually bites you in the butt.
It does. So I think for some people, initially, it might have been a spiteful thing. It might be kind of, it might have been some, a little bit of a vindictive moment. Mm-hmm. But ultimately, you guys have stuck with the product. A lot of you have. A lot of you watch on TV. That's why the TV ratings are always high here in St. Louis. And the attendance figures speak for themselves, especially when you compare it around the league. But I think to say, for some people it had nothing to do with that,
right,
that wouldn't be accurate.
Yeah, I definitely think it. Well, I think people watch it because they enjoy it, especially here. I think there's a craving for football. You're a city that has lost 2 football NFL franchises. I think that they show up because they enjoy football. I don't think it's necessary. I don't think people go to the Battlehawks games and think, yeah, we're going to show Stan Kroenke. I think they show up because, they are thankful to have football down at the Dome with an opportunity to watch it.
Honestly, I go for the atmosphere. It's a fun atmosphere to be a part of.
Yeah.
I was a little bit younger when the Rams were here. The last Rams game I went to was in high school. At that time, I don't think I appreciated the NFL as much as maybe I do now.
Yep.
And so going to Battlehawk games, they're always just fun. You see people dress up. You see people who love football go and watch football. Because it's not the NFL, that those people there watching just want to be entertained, and they like the game of football, and it's as simple as that. I think it started off with the whole hating Stan Kroenke, but I think it's evolved into something else that I think fans can get behind. They have some new faces coming in, but there's a lot of other players that have been around for a while. Hakeem Butler, that's a guy I love watching play because he makes spectacular plays, at this level.
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot of people out there that really enjoy watching the Battlehawks and just simply want them to win because they're another part of the city and they're another team that you can root for and really get behind. I think the one thing, though, that I wish would happen is if they switched the practice facility from being down in, Texas, and really went local.
I agree with that. I think that's an excellent point. I think that, would it be fair to say that people showed up for the spite and they stuck around for the atmosphere? Initially, they showed up for the spite.
Marcia, you saying that you like the Battlehawks because they keep the same players around? It's a good formula.
They don't, though.
They have some of them.
Some of them.
AJ McCarron's gone.
Yeah. It's a new era.
New era.
I'll tell you right now, though, last year I went to a Cardinals game, and that's the one thing I love about when this football is being played, because it's being played right at the beginning of Cardinals baseball and at the tail end of the NHL season. So there could be a day where you could go to all 3 games, maybe all 4 games. Last year, went to a Cardinals game during the daytime, and then went immediately to Ballpark Village to watch the Blues play.
Yeah.
Against your Sharks, actually. It was an earlier start, so watched a little bit of that game, and then went straight to the Battle Dome after that to go watch the Battlehawks play, while also having City SC playing on the TV. So it's like
it's a good
you're
day.
getting all of the sports in that one kind of time frame. It's a lot of fun. It reminds me of October when there's a lot of sports going on too.
Used to.
What?
Anthony.
Used to be.
Anthony. That was uncalled for.
Been a couple years.
Wait, what?
Since October had sports being played. Now it's usually just.
Well, I didn't say St. Louis sports. I just said
I thought.
sports.
Well, but you had said
No, I know. I can see where
bounced
the
around in
confusion.
St. Louis. Yeah.
I can see where the confusion is. No, I just mean sports in general, Anthony.
Oh.
Yeah, one of the best months, in my opinion, outside of the month of March.
Of course.
Great month.
Vaseline month.
Mm-hmm.
And outside of the final weekend of of November.
Final weekend. Oh, yeah.
It's a great weekend.
Yes. The best weekend.
Solid weekend.
No?
I don't know.
Not for you?
I don't know.
Thanksgiving, football.
Football you had all of that for Christmas. And then you had when did the college football
Yeah, but for
playoffs
Christmas that week, you had some days where you didn't have anything. Except for NBA. Who wants that, you know? Oh, yeah, Carey. Yeah, my bad. Yep,
Question number 5.
Yeah. From a 618. This is very interesting. I'm a high school coach. You guys played sports. What's the best way to kick someone off the team who has zero talent?
So I saw that question earlier. I don't think you kick a kid off the team because he stinks. Now, if said kid is a nuisance or a problem or a huge asoli, maybe that kid doesn't do his schoolwork and is, sending other kids down the path of destruction, then yeah, you can get rid of him. But just because he's not good, I would assume you got other players that are playing, that are starting. And the way you handle that with parents, because I'm sure at some point parents are, why isn't my son playing? Well, sir, ma'am, your son isn't good enough. Like I would tell parents there are only 2 reasons why your son doesn't play. It used to be 3, Anthony. Then I knocked it down to 2.
Okay.
The one that I had on there was because they don't show up. They don't come to practice. Now I just kick them off the team if they don't come to practice. This is not it's not a soup kitchen. Everybody doesn't get a bowl.
That's pretty fair.
Yeah, you don't come to practice, you don't play. Yeah. You got to work. You got to work for your food, Marshy. So, if you don't work, you don't eat. Rule number 1.
Mm-hmm.
So, you don't come to practice, you're off the team. So, that's not a rule anymore. Other reason why your kid might not play is because someone's better than them or they don't know what they're doing. And how you help or how you explain that, I wouldn't put your son on the field with a kid who doesn't know what he's doing.
Yeah.
Because he's going to get him hurt. I don't want to explain. I'd rather one parent be mad at me for their kid not playing than another parent be mad at me because the kid that doesn't know what he's doing got their kid hurt. He's not going to play. That's just my rule. If you don't know what you're doing, can't play because I don't want you to get hurt. I don't want you to get anyone else hurt. And if you're not good enough, life is built off of competition. I know we did away with it and we started giving away participation trophies and everybody gets a pendant and a flag and a medallion and a trophy and we're all excited. Little Johnny, he got a trophy. Little Johnny didn't do anything. Like he didn't. He made sure that we all were excited on the sideline.
Mm-hmm.
No knock to him.
You need those people,
You got a glue guy. But every person that's listening to this show right now, driving in their car or at home, you had to have competition. You got a job. If you got a job, there were other people that they interviewed for said job. They hired you because you were the best one. That is competition. They hired you because of your resume, because of the work you've put in. Your kid needs to learn that at an early age. Ain't nothing going to be given to him or her. They have to work because eventually in life, they got to work. So competition is throughout all walks of life.
Right.
You don't compete, you don't eat. Literally.
Look, you gotta experience failure too. You have to experience failure. You have to experience your expectations not being met. This is part of life. And if you constantly take that away from a child or take that away from somebody, all you're doing is robbing them of an opportunity to do it later on in life when you're not going to be there. So let them experience failure. Let them experience working hard, the hardest they can do, and still not being good enough to start.
And I'm not
and
going
you
to
hope that it's going to drive.
Yeah, I'm not going to kick your kid off the team because he or she isn't athletic enough or isn't good enough. I mean, we can all work.
I mean, high school sports, there's cuts.
You do have cuts in some sports. In football, we didn't cut.
Yeah.
So, but you're not going to be not playing and then be an idiot on the sideline. You're still held to the same standards of everyone on this team. You still have to work hard. You still have to give me your best effort.
Right.
Whatever that level is. And as a coach, you know what that level is. You know if a kid is giving you their best effort or if they're just, BSing. But I'm not gonna kick them off the team because they stink.
Yeah.
Just,
coach them.
Coach them. You just won't play.
Coach them to the best of their ability. All right, it's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. The Cardinals, one of the reasons the Cardinals are holding on to Ryan Helsley is because they want to see actually how good they can be. That's next on 101 ESPN.
down to Florida for a spring training report on 101 ESPN. Our Redbird Spring Training Report is brought to you by Rawlings. Visit the all-new Rawlings experience at Westport Plaza today.
It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Carey Davis, Andrew Marsh, Anthony Stalter, 5:05. Your time check brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. Is it possible the Cardinals are hanging on to Ryan Helsley to also see how good the team could be? So, in other words, maybe they are going to be much better than a lot of people, including us, think. And if you're going to be a team that is more competitive than just competitive, period. I don't even have to say more competitive than people think, just more competitive, period. You're going to need a closer. So is it possible that it's much more than just what they could receive in a deal, either this past offseason or at the deadline, and more about knowing that they're going to contend to some degree over the next year to 2 years, and maybe they bring him back? Or do you think he's definitely gone by the deadline?
I mean,
what are your thoughts?
That would definitely be a Cardinal thing, right? Kind of see where you are at the deadline, and we're in range. And Ryan Helsley's been performing really well. Let's keep him. Instead of really assessing who you are and what you are and how good your team is. And you've talked about this, we've talked about this. Being a team that can make it into the playoffs potentially versus being a team that can actually win a championship, those are two totally different teams.
Yeah.
Like, they are. Like
I don't know. Do you think it's? I'm sorry to cut you off. Do you think it's the? Do you think it's? The reason I did this is because I think you're like it's perfect the way you said that. Do you think the Cardinals feel that way?
That they're those are two totally different.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
Yeah, I
don't
agree.
think most people feel that way because the thing you always hear is the exception to the rule. You hear about, oh, look at the Diamondbacks. Oh, what about the 17-game win streak? Oh, look at the Blues. They were down. You always hear, but this is hundreds of years of sports. Mm-hmm. Like, name me 10 times it's happened. Give me 10 times where that example is the rule. The rule is you fire your coach, you're probably going to have a team that stinks.
Right.
You're not going to be like the Phillies when you fire your manager and make it to the World Series.
Or the Blues.
Like, it's an anomaly. It's not something that happens often, but people hold on to that because it gives them a form of something to lean into or believe. Yeah. When you actually should believe that if you're a team on the fringe of making the playoffs, the chances of you actually running the table, you think a team that's 5 games out of the playoffs picture with 3 weeks left really has a chance to win the World Series against a team like the Dodgers? Probably not.
No.
So realistically, you should be looking at what you can be going forward, not what you can be for this season just to appease a fan base or to make people feel good in the moment, when in actuality you can help them feel much better in the long run. And that's my thought process about it.
I think the thing with Ryan Helsley and getting rid of him, it is, in a sense, risky, right? Because you don't know what you're going to ultimately end up getting from him. Like, yeah, you could get some prospects, but who's to say any of those prospects turn out, right?
Sure.
If you end up keeping him, for me, a deal has to be done before the deadline. You either need to know that this guy's going to be on your team for the foreseeable future, or you get rid of him. Mm-hmm. It's not we're on a playoff push, and, he makes our team better, which he does. And we're going to hold on to him and see if we can get him in the, do something in the offseason. No, you either have that guy on your team for the foreseeable future or you don't.
Yeah.
I do not want to see them go into the following offseason and not getting anything from the guy or for the guy.
Right.
that to me, that's a Cardinals move.
Outside of a QO, right?
Right.
Yeah, so we're getting some comments here. So I think it was G-Dog in the Snake Pit who said, absolutely not, Anthony. That sounds too thought out for the Cardinals in terms of keeping Ryan Helsley around just to see if they contend and they actually think that they're going to contend. I think what G-Dog is saying is that requires a little foresight and a little clairvoyance, right? That the Cardinals see that they're they're going to be good, right? What's more likely of a situation? Like, what's the more likely scenario? I think the more likely scenario is that the Cardinals either didn't have a good grasp on what Helsley's market was this offseason, and they didn't hear the offers that they wanted. So they said, screw it, we'll keep him and then trade him at the deadline. The problem is, if they are somewhat competitive and they do have an opportunity to even earn a wild card, do we think that they're going to do what the Tigers did a year ago?
No.
And be a buyer/seller, or be somebody that's retooling while also selling, while also making the playoffs? I don't think they're that advanced either.
No, they didn't do it this year.
So they probably just keep Helsley, like you're saying, Marsh, lose him in free agency, and then just get the QO, and that's it.
I hope that's not the case. Like I said, if they are going to
pick, I should say, not the QO.
If they're going to hold on to him, like, something needs to be done in season, or hell, do it now. Like, here's my thing: Ryan Helsley makes your team better, and if you do think that this team could be competitive in 2026 or 2027, like, he could be a part of that. Like, this guy's an all-star closer.
Yeah.
Those don't just fall off trees and you can go and find them on the ground, right?
No.
And you develop this guy too. He's in your system. Like, I would want to hold on to that if you have the idea of your team being good in the next few years. I don't hate the idea of keeping him because of that, because then what if it becomes a thing where, oh, wow, this team's actually pretty good in 2026, 2027.
Right.
They figured it out, but they blew 20-plus games because they don't have a closer. That goes to what we've seen the past 10 years where the timelines don't match up. They either have a good offense and terrible pitching, or they have pretty good pitching and the offense can't score runs when they need to. It never adds up. So I wouldn't be shocked if they were good in the next few years and they don't have a Ryan Helsley or they don't have a whatever, and then they're looking for that guy again. That ultimately is the Cardinals, and it has been for the last 10 years.
A couple of thoughts here from the Snake Pit. Splashback Deuce says inaction is so much easier. You're absolutely right, because then you're not forced to it really explain. You don't necessarily have to hold yourself accountable. You just didn't do anything, right? Like, we didn't trade him. We didn't get the offers we wanted. And then eggplant emoji, love the name, says Hell's Bells was responsible for their victories between saves and wins. Seems pretty obvious to keep him when you'd get, at best, a B-level prospect in return. I think you're probably minimizing what you could get for an all-star closer.
At the deadline.
At the deadline, especially.
You can definitely get something great.
Aroldis Chapman netted the Yankees Gleyber Torres, who was one of the Cubs' top prospects at the time. So I'm not saying that Aroldis Chapman and Ryan Helsley are the same guy or worth the same thing, but I think you could probably get more than a B-level prospect if you were to make Helsley available at the deadline, assuming, of course, that he's healthy and he's being productive. But I understand your point. And this is the point that we've made about the Blues. I've made it specifically to eggplant emoji's thought. If you're not going to get ultimately even above market value for a player, then why don't you just hold on to them? Because in essence, they're worth more to you than they are on that open market. Just depends on what the compensation is, as always. All right, it's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. We're going to stick with the Cardinals here for a second. What possible outcome? Let me rephrase it. What's the worst possible outcome for the Cardinals this season, and how can they avoid that from happening? That's next on 101 ESPN. We're getting some really good responses from the previous segment. We're already getting some good responses from this Cardinal segment that we tease coming up. Carey Davis, Andrew Marsh, Anthony Stalter's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Do you want to read the text message that we got, Marsh? They were critical of us, basically sweet talking the Blues and crapping on their Cardinals. Can you read that one?
Yeah, for sure. From the 314. So once again, you guys change your tune with the Cardinals versus the Blues, meaning you say you don't trade Shen or Bennington because they have a chance to make the playoffs. But to keep Helsley is a bad move. Seems like you change tunes when it comes to the Blues and Cards.
Yeah, in fairness to us, I think you're kind of hacking up the context a little bit. One, Ryan Helsley is on an expiring contract. So let's just start there. The variables are not the same. When you're talking about Braden Shen and Jordan Binnington, you're talking about trading players that have term left on their deal. So, again, the variables are much different. Ryan Helsley is on an expiring deal. As far as you guys changed your tune, hey, isn't it good to make the playoffs if you're the Blues? Yeah, it's a cap sport, and the ownership group, if they want to continue to spend to the cap, they do need playoff revenue. They need home ticket playoff revenue. Concessions, I guess not parking, but you get what I'm saying. So there is a difference between the Blues making the playoffs, and while the Cardinals get that revenue as well, they play in a sport that if it's really the haves and have-nots. Like, it's going to be more difficult, in my opinion, for the Cardinals to make the playoffs than the Blues this year. But even pushing that aside, the point is, and this is where the context comes in, what we've said about the Blues is we're not opposed to trading Shen and trading Jordan Binnington. The compensation has to make sense. Mm-hmm. They're still around. If you don't trade those guys, they're going to be around next year. That's the guarantee.
Right.
There is no guarantee with Ryan Helsley.
Correct.
If you hang on to him and you don't, obviously, so therefore you don't trade him and you don't re-sign him,
you lose him.
Mm-hmm. And while you offer him the qualifying offer and you get compensation for that, it's much different than selling him to the highest bidder and getting a massive prospect package in return.
Right.
So again, the variables are different. The context is different. So I hope I explained that. I don't think it's just as simple as you guys love the Blues, you kiss their ass, and you hate on my Cardinals. I think that's a little.
Yeah,
it's a little sophomoric. I apologize. It's coming from me.
We saw this happen with Vladimir Tarasenko, and we saw it with Ryan O'Reilly. The contracts were expiring, and they moved in a different direction because it really made no sense based on what you had in place. You had Robert Thomas and Jordan Kyrou. Those were going to be the next two players ascending to that role. So you were able to move on from them because, as you said, the expiring contracts, you either trade them and get something or let them walk and get nothing, essentially. So that's the position that the Cardinals are in. And I said it during the break. I feel like the Cardinals missed an opportunity, having this mindset that, we can make the playoffs. And I lost the text message, but I've been texting back and forth with a person online on the text thread just explaining that theory. Like, the Steelers have a chance to make the playoffs every year, Anthony.
Yeah.
Are the Steelers going to win a championship?
No.
Hell no. They ain't good enough. They're good enough to make it to the playoffs. They're not good enough to win.
Yeah.
The Baltimore Ravens are good enough to win a championship, and that's a different level. Like, it's a different team. That's why you all tease me saying I'm a Ravens fan. I'm not, by the way. Just like you're not a Sharks fan, now I have something in common with you. But if I'm a Ravens fan, you're definitely a Sharks fan.
You know what? I respect it. I respect the way you said that. I really do. On both sides of the equation, I respect it, Carey.
But yeah, so there are teams that you can make the playoffs, but you don't really have the wherewithal to make a run during the playoffs. And we were making a comparison. I was talking about the Dodgers. Like, that's a team that is loaded top to bottom. If you're a team that is scratching, clawing, like, maybe you can make it. Maybe it can be a miracle. Is it gonna be? Probably not. But fans tend to hold on to that hope that, man, this could be our year.
Yeah.
And then you get kicked out in the first round. You're like, oh, man, we stink. Yeah, you do.
Mm-hmm.
But at least you had that opportunity. I guess that's the mindset. I'd rather put myself in position to have multiple years of really having an opportunity to win a championship than to have 1 year where I know I'm not going to win it,
right,
and then it's going to be over. Then I have to do the reset anyways.
Right.
So I think that's where the difference is.
We also have to consider that. Look, Ryan Helsley is a bona fide closer. There are going to be contenders that don't have a closer. And I'm talking about real contenders that believe they can win a World Series. And they're going to target Ryan Helsley, and they'll give up something significant. The reason why I'm confident in this is because look back on any year a contender needed a closer.
Right.
They ponied up.
It's going to be every year.
Exactly. They ponied up. So it's a little different when you're talking about the Blues and where they are right now.
Right.
Brandon, total BS. Anthony is a Sharks fan regardless of CD. You tried, Carey.
I'm trying to help you.
All right. And one more note on this. JFuzz 80, but why trade away great talent for less talent if you want to be a competitive team? I never understood that. That on its surface, JFuzz 80, I mean, like literally what you said, I don't understand that either. I wouldn't trade great talent for less talent. It gets more complicated when you're talking about an expiring contract, which I think Carey and I were just explaining that. So hopefully that answered that question. All right, splashback twos. But why do you have actual reasons and layers to your argument when they don't? I love splashback deuce. All right. So we teased worst possible outcomes for the Cardinals, and we did get a couple of thoughts here. MD 2020, worst outcome, them being in the race until the end of August, so not dealing prospects, winning 80 games, missing the playoffs, and thinking we're close and they don't need any major improvements this offseason. Can I sign up? Because that's my thought. That's my thought process.
Isn't that what happened last year?
Yes.
I feel like that's what's happened.
That's what's happened last. Well,
it happened last year. It didn't happen in 23.
You're right, because they traded Flaherty. That was the year they traded Flaherty. They traded Montgomery. Like that was
70 games. 70 games.
It would be better if they were terrible and they're like, we know we're terrible. We're going to move forward. Yeah. As opposed to what MD 2020 outlined, which I agree. That's my worst outcome as well. They don't realize they're not good enough because they kind of play okay like they did a year ago, and they're kind of in it at the deadline.
Kind of like a team that goes 9-8 every year.
Yes.
I think that final part is consistent with years that they've been in the playoffs too.
Yeah.
Where they don't go out and get that extra piece or pieces that really put them over the top like some other teams do. Mm-hmm. They think they can just get in and anything can happen because we won in 2006 by winning 80 games, and we won in 2011 by coming back and having one of the best comebacks in sports history in terms of getting into the playoffs. And in a single game as well, in Game 6 of the World Series, everything kind of came together. It was a magical run. Well, maybe that could happen again. No, Carey just outlined, like, there's how many times can you say that in the last 100 years?
Right.
Like, it doesn't happen all the time. And that's kind of how you have your 2 World Series in this century. It is by, like, luck and Albert Pujols.
What? You telling me they weren't the best teams that year?
I think in 2006, you can make an argument that team was very good. Their record did not indicate what they were on paper based on health. 2011, though, I think the team was solid, but like things didn't come together until late in the year.
Yeah.
But again,
it was a magical run.
It was a magical run.
It was a magical September.
100%. But like you're not one of the teams that people are writing articles about for good reasons, right?
Yeah, I agree. Waterboy outlines a really nasty worst possible outcome. He says worst possible outcome is that Arenado gets hurt. Mo decides he wants to stay on for 5 more years. Wynn needs Tommy John surgery.
Oh, man.
None of the bobbleheads get shipped on time.
Oh, God.
Waterboy might win.
That's a bad time.
Yeah.
I'm not going to wood for old Mason.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
JFuzz 80 came back and said, I understand it now. Didn't realize he was on the way out. And he might not be, but his contract is expiring. You could re-sign him. But there's only one of 2 outcomes, right? Mm-hmm. Well, actually, sorry. There's 3 outcomes with Helsley. You either keep him, re-sign him, keep him, lose him, or trade him and get prospects.
I think the worst possible outcome for me is going to a game where it's sprinkling, getting a puzzle, leaving said puzzle in, my seat or under the seat, and then going back into the concourse because it's raining, and then going back out to my seat, my puzzle being gone, and then going back to the concourse because the game got canceled.
Yeah.
That's like a combination of some of my worst experiences at Busch Stadium. I would hate for that to happen this season.
Marsh,
to anyone.
Hey, good news. That already happened to you last year.
That's true.
So your worst case scenario, you've already lived through.
But not at the same time, though.
Which is huge. Well, yeah, it's true.
You know?
Yeah. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Because when you lost, when the puzzle was taken from you, I don't even say you lost it. It was just stolen.
No, it was stolen. Somebody stole it.
When somebody stole your property, you still got a game to watch. Like, 100%. That game wasn't canceled.
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't like you showed up to the park and they knew the damn game was going to be canceled, but they still got a bunch of concessions out of you. That was different.
It's tough.
Let me look up and see if the Cardinals won that day.
When your puzzle got stolen?
The puzzle day?
Yeah.
I'm surprised you don't remember. You remember.
Well, he was mad.
Everything.
Well, I usually remember games based on where I sat.
Okay.
But for this specific 2024 season, there was a time where I sat in the same seats multiple times. So
how'd they do?
I'm looking it up right now.
You goggling it?
I'm goggling it.
Okay.
There's no date.
All right. Well, look,
Who were they
Marsh,
playing?
you don't even know.
Okay, it was the 19th. They played the Red Sox.
Did they
that
win?
was a sweat. Didn't they sweep that series?
It was a Sunday afternoon, and I believe the Red Sox put 10 on them.
And it was pretty early, too. Didn't Tyler O'Neill homer in that one?
He did, and so did Devers.
That's right.
He
Yeah.
did.
That one got sideways.
Now I do remember that game. I typically don't leave sporting events early. I did that day.
This is 11-3.
11-3.
A lot closer than the 11-3 score.
And my puzzle got stolen. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, it was incredibly hot that day.
I'm sure it was.
Yes.
If it was, what'd you say, game 19?
May 19th.
Or May 19th? Yeah. That wasn't too hot, though, right?
Might have been warm.
In May?
It was hot. I was a little
It wasn't St. Louis hot yet.
I was a little hungover, too. So that
probably added to things. That's actually a detail that now makes more sense. All right. We're going to bet the board next in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. The Blues defeat the Seattle Kraken last night by a final score of 7-2. They'll take on the Washington Capitals tomorrow night. Pregame is an early one. It starts at 5. Puck drop is at 6. If you've missed anything from today's show, make sure you go to 101ESPN.com or check out the free Dobbs Tire and Auto Center's 101 ESPN mobile app. Just head to the podcast page, and you'll find all of our interviews and full shows there. And it's all brought to you by the Schaefer Door Company. We have Bet the Board coming up next. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
It's Fast on 101 ESPN. Carey Davis, Andrew Marsh, Anthony Stalter. Time to bet the board. Marsh, what do you got for standings?
All right, doesn't look like really anything's changed here, Anthony.
Man.
We're still losing. We're going to continue to lose.
Gosh darn
We're going to continue to lose because we're not good, right?
That's correct.
And Jamie did send us his pick.
Jamie did,
like he always does, right?
Yep. Yeah, and yeah, no, totally. No, he actually did. Nathan McKinnon over a half power play points. So just got to get a power play point out of Nathan McKinnon tonight if you're Jamie Rivers. All right.
And by the way, Jamie did get the McDavid point. So that's what I meant by
it's over.
Nothing's changed. Like Jamie still leads.
He got his yesterday?
He did get his, yeah. McDavid got a point. Now, the Oilers lost. They lost that game. I believe the score was 4-1 to the Lightning. But McDavid did get a power play point and assist to Leon Draisaitl's power play goal in the first period.
Darn it.
Bam. All right.
So is he at 13? I'm at 10.
It's over.
I got to hit the last 3 days.
Carey, you are at 9, actually.
Oh, it's a wrap.
There's no way he's losing.
He got 13?
This lead is too much.
No, Jamie has 12.
Oh, okay, so he's
12.
3 in front of me. All right, I just got to hit these next 3 days, and he's got to be wrong all 3 days. Give me the Boston Celtics minus 4.5 over the Pistons. Come on.
Marsh, you want to go?
No, you can go.
So right now, my UConn Huskies are down by 10.
At this very moment?
At this very moment, they're down by 10 in the first half. They're a 14.5-point favorite, but right now, live line is 7.5. I'll say UConn minus 7.5.
Wow.
On the live line.
And they're down by 10 at this
moment?
They're
down by 10, so they still got a long way to go here. But I don't know. Maybe I'll strike lightning.
Interesting.
Or capture lightning in a bottle.
Let's see here.
Lightning already strikes, Carey. I don't have to strike lightning. I'm not Zeus.
I'm going to go with the New Jersey Devils money line, plus 120 against the Avalanche tonight.
Oh, nice. Going with that dog, huh? Good work.
I mean, it doesn't matter, right?
No, like I said, it's over. Carey, what are you talking about?
Somebody from 314 says, so badly wanted to call BS on the lad, but alas, cannot. May 19th was unseasonably hot, and 88 degrees was the highest temp for that month. Damn it! And they put the temperature up.
So, Marsh, if it was 88 that day, and you were hungover,
it felt like 100.
It might have been 108.
And the seats were in the sun, too.
It was 108 for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense.
And the puzzle got stolen.
Man.
And it was an Adam Wainwright puzzle, too.
Oh, no. You love Adam Wainwright.
I do.
You have his album.
I have a picture of... Well, I don't have his album.
Why not? You've thought about getting his album.
I thought about going to see him live in concert.
Yeah.
Why don't you have his album?
Well, I have Spotify.
Oh.
Actually, you know what?
You probably have all the songs downloaded, right? That would constitute an album on Spotify.
No, I don't. I did not do that.
Okay.
When Spotify Wrapped came out, did I take pictures of it? Because you guys know what that is, right?
No clue.
I don't know where India is. I'm not going to know what that is.
So Spotify Wrapped is like all of your top songs, top albums that you listen to on Spotify, and at the end of the year, they give you like a little fun PowerPoint presentation of sorts, and showing you like what you listen to the most. My top 5 songs, one of them included Adam Wainwright. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So this is one that you listen to the most, then.
I listen to it a lot. Yeah.
Which one is it?
So,
sing it for us.
Well, I'm not going to. People already heard me do that earlier on TMA, apparently. It was Hey Y'all.
Oh, Hey Y'all, yeah.
It's a, hey y'all, how's your daddy and your mama in, and y'all want to take a ride down to the lake? That's Adam Wainwright's song.
Hey Ya is an Outkast.
That's Hey Ya, but no, this is Hey Y'all.
Uh-oh.
It's not Hey Y'all. No, it's Hey Y'all.
Hey Y'all.
Now, do you listen to that when you're working out?
No, absolutely not. I actually play it for my girlfriend Rachel, who can't stand it, so I like.
Torture?
No, it's just like when I like to play a joke sometimes. I don't do it as much anymore, but I used to when the song came out. Like, hey, I just like check out this new song that I like that I'm listening to. I think you'll really like it. She'd be like, oh, okay, what is it? And I'll just play Hey Y'all. She's like, no. But I do it all the time.
I used to before I got into radio, I used to work with a guy that like we'd have to talk on, I don't know what platform we used, but it was, it's kind of like instant messaging basically, but on the computer, because we had to we're posting articles and things like that. Like, hey, I got mine coming out at 10, stagger yours to 10:30, whatever.
Was it AIM?
It might have been, yeah. It might have
really
been. It was a while ago.
Yeah.
So
AIM?
Yeah, it's a long time ago. Anyways, when Rebecca Black's song came out Friday, he figured out how to disguise the link to that song. When he was so every once in a while he's like, hey, can you edit this for me? And I'm like, sure. So I click on it and brought up the video. It was pretty funny.
It's like getting rickrolled.
Exactly. Yeah. Or hey y'all.
Yeah. Hey y'all.
If you're Rachel.
Exactly. But I actually like the song, which is why I wanted the damn puzzle and somebody stole it.
Of course. All comes back to that puzzle. Now, Carey, when you took your kids, or you took your son and his friend, right, to the Cardinals game, and we forced you to stay.
You did.
Especially even though they were losing.
Yep.
We thought that was
Rockies.
That was a great learning moment.
Yeah, it was. I don't know if it was.
Teach those boys some lessons. Life sometimes just it's not great.
I think there was a different lesson to be learned. It was, if you don't like the Cardinals, you can pick another team to root for.
That's what Carey did.
Yeah.
But I don't think the lesson that night was that. The lesson that night was, you watch this. Okay?
And root for the other team.
No, he didn't root for your son didn't root for the other team, did he?
No. I don't think so. I don't recall. Well, he was born in Denver, so he kind of sometimes.
Oh.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, might run in the family. You've been out in L.A.
Find your team, man. Find a team you enjoy watching.
There you go.
You don't have to suffer.
Yeah.
You don't have to be Anthony and his Atlanta Falcons that he chose when he was 9 years old. He didn't know any better.
I didn't.
You didn't know the trajectory of this organization, and that all you knew was Neon Dion. Prime time was special. You love the shoes. You love the swagger. You love the interception, the pick sixes, and the punt returns for touchdowns. Best player in the world. You didn't know that he soon would be leaving said team.
And not only leaving, but leaving to the 49ers, who I hated.
And now they brought in Michael Vick. And you're like, okay, there's a chance. We got an opportunity.
Yeah.
And that didn't work out.
No.
No, it didn't.
Well, it worked out for a little while.
It did.
It worked out just long enough for me to get my hopes up.
Yeah, but then it didn't. Then they brought in your guy, Matty Ice.
Who was great.
He was outstanding.
Led us to the Super Bowl.
He did. But then you got let down again.
Yeah.
Then this offseason, this past offseason, You signed the person you did not want them to sign. And you were sick about it.
Yeah.
But then they drafted the guy you wanted them to draft. And you were excited again.
Hence being a Falcon fan.
See this roller coaster that you're on,
It's a beautiful
Anthony?
thing.
Yeah. No championships to claim.
No, not a one.
No. But you know what you do have? You have that video of Michael Vick throwing that long touchdown pass.
In Miami.
One that you always love to show us.
Off his 1 foot.
Is that the one he threw when he was with the
50
Eagles?
yards.
Because that one was better to Deshaun Jackson.
No, it wasn't with the Eagles. He was with the Falcons.
I have one for the Falcons. I mean, the one of the Eagles was better.
No.
He was a rope.
Come on,
It was
don't
like
do that
80
to
yards.
Anthony.
It was.
Don't do
In the
this.
air.
But this was 50 yards off one foot.
That one was
or
like
one leg, I mean.
80 yards.
50 yards, one leg to Brian Finneran.
Okay.
Not Deshaun
Defend
Jackson.
score?
Yeah, no. I think he was down at the one. I think he was down at the one. Yeah. All right, I see your point.
The 618 texted in some of his top Spotify songs, and one of them is "Cruel Summer" by G Flip.
Never heard of that.
Yeah.
I think it's a
It makes you
perfect way
happy?
to describe.
The 618?
No, I was going to say the Cardinals
Cardinals.
season over the past few years.
Oh, yeah,
Just
that's
a
true.
Cruel Summer.
Yep. Well, I think that's why he picked it. Brand from the Snake Pit said, at what age did Anthony choose the Sharks? So Jamie made up that rumor in 2019.
Did he?
Mm-hmm.
Is that a rumor that's made up?
Yes.
Just like the rumor about the Ravens?
Depends.
What rumor?
Yeah, well, I don't
It
know what
depend-
rumor
am I-
he's talking about either then.
Am I a Shark fan?
Am I a Ravens fan? Huh?
No.
Okay, you aren't either.
Yeah. Wait, no. Not a Ravens.
You aren't a Sharks fan
Thank you.
either.
All right.
So you're what, 30 years old when you became a Sharks fan?
If I was 30 in 2019, sure. But I was not. Well, I was in my 30s, just not 30. All right, it's Fast and on 101 ESPN. We'll wrap up the show. What we learned. Mine's pretty easy today. And mine's pretty easy. Just pay attention to basic geography and you won't get absolutely ridiculed for 2 hours. But these guys also have what they learned, plus criticisms and compliments, all next on 101 ESPN.
Come in.
miss anything from today's show, you can always download the podcast available at 101ESPN.com or via the Dobson Tire and Auto Center's 101 ESPN mobile app. Podcast is always brought to you by Schaefer Door Company.
That was different.
That was way different.
That was much different.
Yeah.
Whoa. Whoa.
Always brought to you by... Okay, yeah, we did it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. That did sound weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hit the
Carey and I
wrong
were like,
button.
wait a minute.
What's going on here?
Yeah.
All right, time to find out what we learned. I'll go first. I learned that.
Please.
I found that India is actually located. It's not located in Africa. I blew the gauntlet today pretty bad with that. Many of you have reminded me of that. I haven't even seen the text line. I can't imagine what that looked like. A lot of people questioning my intelligence, just how dumb I am, my IQ overall, why I didn't learn basic geography in third grade. I mean, the list goes on and on. Now, several of you, including our very own water boy, are very concerned that Jamie won't find out about this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to text Jamie right now on air to let him know. In fact, I worked this up. I said, Jamie, I didn't know where India was located. I said Africa. Listeners are concerned that you won't find out so that you can make fun of me. So I'm telling you now. And I just sent it to the group.
Oh, man.
I see it, yes.
Yeah.
Yep,
So Waterboy was incredibly concerned. Others were concerned that Jamie wouldn't find out so that he could also ridicule me. But I just sent it to the group chat. So
Yeah.
I hope I did something good today for somebody.
Yeah.
I'm proud of you, Anthony.
Thanks.
Accountability is got to be one of those rules here in the Definitely.
Yeah. There you go.
And it's an unwritten rule.
So, Carey, what'd you learn today?
Bunting with a no-hitter going on. What I learned today was at 1:55 today, I learned that Marshy believes the Blues are winning the damn Stanley Cup. You said it, and it's done.
Marsh?
Yeah.
You made a lot of people excited today.
I got so excited
Hopefully.
when I did that.
Hopefully I did.
Yeah. Proud of you, man.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Is it my turn?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Us two.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know if you were gonna start saying something else.
No, I just.
All right. What did I learn today? I learned that Jackson Burkett found my YouTube page.
Oh, yeah.
Do you play some of your songs?
Apparently on
Good.
TMA. So
Yeah, those songs are catchy. Man.
yeah, you know.
You're proud of those songs. You should be.
I mean, I don't know about proud. I don't know if that's the right
You
word.
should be proud. Though.
Yeah.
The
They were
one
fun to make.
specifically was very catchy. The one where you're walking through the house
Yes,
with your
yes.
buddies and stuff.
That was a good
I
song.
enjoy that
Yeah,
one
that was-
very
Well, hey, you know what? As long as you guys enjoy it, that's great.
I do,
Because I'm
yeah.
not going to come on here and start pumping my own tires, right?
No, you're a very humble guy. I'm just
Appreciate
telling
it.
you flat out that those songs were catchy.
Well, I appreciate it. My younger self would love to hear that.
Well, there you go. All right. Let's do what? Criticisms and compliments or 3 stars, whatever you want.
Yeah, let's do. I don't know. It's not really a criticism. It's not much of a compliment either. But it's from the 217, and it says India actually used to be part of Africa millions of years ago. It split off as a subcontinent and merged with Asia. Anthony would have been right a few million years ago.
Thank you.
So give him that much.
You know, I appreciate that. Thank you, Texter. You're actually looking out for me on that one. Thank you.
I just typed in, I went on our text line and just typed in Asia just to see what everyone was saying.
A few hundred text.
So we got one from Grant Francis Fan Club basically saying the same thing. India actually was a part of Africa like 100 million years ago. It broke off, drifted across the ocean, and slammed its head into Asia, much like Anthony did in the pool.
Yeah.
I actually added that last part. The collision created the Himalayas.
There you go. Thank you for the lesson.
Yeah.
I think the bottom line is when I have often said how bad of a student I was and how stupid I actually am, I think it's up to listeners to really start believing me. And I think today I finally proved that. And people now realize that my IQ is somewhere around a 4. So
It's not that low.
6, 9, 11.
Double digits at least.
11. We'll go 11. Okay. We'll settle there.
3 stars of the day. Our third star of the day is going to go out to the Adam Wainwright puzzle.
Yep.
The second star of the day goes out to the continent of Asia.
Asia,
Yes.
You know, India is part of Asia.
Learned that today.
Now.
Yeah.
Learned it today.
You know, Anthony, I felt like that question in the continent of Asia really get the best of you in the Gauntlet. However, today you're going to get the best of the continent because you, my friend, are the first star of the day.
Oh, wow. Sympathy star. I appreciate that, Mars. I appreciate that. Yeah. You know what? Your heart's in the right place. And even though I recognize it as a sympathy star, I certainly will take that, Mars. Thank you. All right. That'll do it for us. Tomorrow we got Blues and Capitals pregame at 5 o'clock. So we're off a little earlier tomorrow. Puck will drop at 6. We got an instant replay from 6 to 7 following our show today. So everybody have a great night. Appreciate you being a part of the show. I think Jamie will join us from the road tomorrow, at least for a couple of hours. So we're hoping for that. We'll get a little Blues talk with him. For Andrew Marsh, for Jamie Rivers, for Carey Davis, I'm Anthony Stalter. See ya. This is one of the best time of years of the year in sports. I love the Missouri Valley Conference tournament. I love all the college basketball tournaments. They're always a lot of fun. But when you're talking about the Arch Madness tournament, you're talking about one that's specific to St. Louis. They come here each and every year to Enterprise Center, and the tournament's always a lot of fun. And the top of the standings right now in the Missouri Valley Conference is very tight. You're talking about Drake and Northern Iowa and Bradley. I mean, they're all tight in that conference. So this tournament is shaping up to be fantastic. Why don't you take the family down to Enterprise Center? Take the family to Arch Madness. For $104, they get their family fun pack, which is 4 single session tickets, 4 large sodas, and 4 large popcorns. So you can take the family down to Enterprise Center, enjoy some hoops. Maybe you're an alum of one of the teams that's playing in the conference tournament, but you can choose your game and enjoy it, right? And when it comes to the conference tournament and it comes to Arch Madness, a lot of times especially the final comes down to the wire. Check it out. March 6th through the 9th, the Arch Madness tournament. Don't forget that family fun pack.